and go on from Dragon Ball Z, and you're listening to the Monsters with Attitude podcast. Like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, embrace the attitude! Yeah!
Hi, this is Alan Henry. I play King Kong and Scar King in the Monsterverse, and you're listening to the Monsters with Attitude podcast. So, like, comment, and subscribe, and remember, embrace the attitude, yeah!
What is going on, listeners with attitude? Welcome to another Monsters with Attitude discussion where we are going to be talking about one of the greatest Godzilla films ever made, the 50th anniversary film, the final film for Suitmation with Godzilla. It is Godzilla Final Wars. But first, I must introduce my illustrious co-stars, the men with the many men. Many men. Many men. Adrian, settle the Godzilla train. What's going on, buddy?
What's up, Joe? What's up, Kaiju family? How y'all doing today? I'm going to talk about one of the most controversial Godzilla films out there. So let's get the fireworks going.
It is definitely one of the most controversial. That's for sure. I'll give you that. And I don't know. I don't got a good tagline. Jordan, what's going on, bud? How are you?
I'm stoked to be here. Absolutely love this movie. I know there's a lot of people that don't, and I'm gonna be honest, I am ready to piss everybody off.
The multicolored bearded kaiju himself, Eric Stolp. What is going on?
Good, man. Good. Yeah. Jordan, you're going to hate me then in this episode because you're going to not like my opinions on this movie whatsoever. But I'm still happy to talk about it because we can talk about different movies with different opinions and we can still be friends about it. So
right.
It's all
That's
good.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. You know, I think that it's a great analogy just for everything. You can like this Godzilla and that Godzilla or like something else and something different, and that's okay. Right, that's what's great about the Godzilla franchise. There is so much volume to choose from that you can be a fan of only the funny, silly, campy, corny stuff, or you could be a fan of just the super serious stuff, or you could be a fan of the stuff that has both, or whatever. That is what is great about Godzilla.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, I say we get right into it. We are waiting for one more, of course. Our friend Sam Zilla, but he is running a few minutes late. So we're gonna go ahead and start without him, and then once he does jump on, we'll catch him up. Sound good, boys?
That's good.
All right.
Actually, quick question. I mean, we could check in on chat real quick before we get started, maybe.
You know, screw the listeners. No, I can't. No, that's a good idea. We'll burn a little time. As always, the ever faithful Oscar. How are you, buddy? Oscar says, "Let's go."
What's up, Oscar?
Nathaniel Plummer, how are you, my friend? He says, "Hi, Kumi Mizuno is so good looking that even as an older woman in this movie, She is still hotter than Godzilla's atomic breath. Whoa! Throw some ice on yourself, Nathaniel. You're getting a little steamy. Remember, if it lasts longer than 4 hours, seek a doctor. Let's see. Kevin Anderson says, "Hello, gang." Hello, Kevin.
Hello.
Oscar, yes, of course, Oscar. Samson is late as always. He's always late. All right, so I say we get into it.
Sure.
Yeah.
Do it.
Roll the footage.
Cool, that beautiful being footage.
Oh, is there no sound? No, that's
Share
right.
some.
It's all good.
It's just a dream. I would say that this should be said.
So I want to start with the kaiju of the film, which is why most of us tune into these, right? Is we love the kaiju and we love the designs. Let's talk about their redesigns. Which one do you think was best, and why? Tell me what you guys were thinking about. It has a pretty deep roster, 11 monsters, and I wouldn't say all of them are radical redesigns, but some of them are. So let's just work our way all the way down. Adrian, you can go first.
So at least for me, of course, for me, the best kaiju redesign is definitely Godzilla. And I've noticed a trend. I really do love Millennial Godzillas, but this one definitely takes the cake. But besides GMK, this Godzilla is the Godzilla of the Millennial era. This Godzilla is everything about this Godzilla is just awesome. He's nice, slender build, like kind of like a not necessarily a gymnast, but more like a boxer. And the way this Godzilla kind of runs through everybody, yeah, that this fits him. But besides Godzilla, I'm not gonna lie, there's only two other designs I really like from this film, and that's Kamunga, and that's gonna be Rodan. And I think Rodan had the nicest design, one of the nicest redesigns in this film as well. More kind of like more of the original Rodan with a little bit of Fire Rodan in there with him. And Eric, I see you judging me, so you can kick rocks. There is the monster I do like more, but he's not necessarily redesigned, so I won't touch on that one. We'll probably touch on that a little bit later. But besides Godzilla, I'll probably say Rodan's my favorite redesign out of everybody.
Rodan, okay, that's not bad. So also, why don't you throw in? Let's talk about our least favorite too. We'll get it. So
Ooh.
I want to try something a little different this time. Go ahead and answer the questions, and then let's all beat the shit out of each other because we all know we're gonna have different.
Perfect.
So give everybody a minute or something to answer give their little spiel, and then we'll all go back and tell everybody why Adrian's wrong. So Jordan.
Despite the lack of effort for this specific character, I made a hashtag about it last night during our Final Wars the watch with Samson. I personally love, and I bet a lot of people would assume that my choice would be King Caesar, but that's not it. My favorite redesign was Fedora.
Oh my God!
What?
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Lord.
Adrian, I apologize. I mean,
Yeah, it's gonna be beat up on Jordan.
Listen, there's about it that's just like, obviously it's 10 times much more gruesome than obviously what we were originally given in the Showa era. There are a lot of features on this that personally make me more of a fan of this design than the original design. But again, because just he was not done justice in this movie whatsoever, unfortunately. But again, the topic is not so much who was the better kaiju, it's the best, or I guess the more preferred redesigns. Mine's is going to be all the way to my boy, the Smog Monster, Hedorah. That's
right,
just
what's your least favorite redesign?
That's a tough one. They were all done so good, and it's just they were all suitable for this movie. But I would have to say the least appealing You know what? No, I guess the least appealing would have to be Kamacuras for me. I loved it. You know, it had an amazing redesign, and I prefer that way more than the Showa. But in terms of just what everybody else had to offer, I guess between, if not just Kamacuras, I would also throw Kamanga in there as well.
Okay, all right, that's fair. Easy E.
Oh boy. So first, I'm just gonna go down memory lane here. When they announced this movie, I remember very clearly that I don't remember if it was a certain kind of website or whatever, but they started like releasing the images of what the monsters are going to look like. It was like one a month or something like that, or you know, it was spaced out and everything, and it was great build up, you know, for the movie and stuff like that. So seeing all that stuff, it was fun to see. For the most part, I do like all of the redesigns. They are all, I think, fitting. They kept true to the actual character and the monster that they basically remade. But I think my favorite ones were Manda. Looked really good. I loved his updated look and stuff like that. More of that dragon. Yeah, exactly what Joe has. Like that. It was sleeker. It was just really nice looking and everything. You know, his time, even though it was short, was awesome on screen. You know, he wasn't like a puppet and everything, moving slowly. Really liked that. I loved Anguirus. Anguirus was really cool. Really liked him. And then the added like newer attributes or abilities that they got in this movie was really nice to see. Along with Rodan was really nice. What else was there? Ibra wasn't too much of a crazy redesign, just a little sleeker.
So you're actually, Eric, so I was going to go through the monster roster, but since you're already kind of doing it, let's just continue that. Since you're already kind of going through them, just go ahead and, keep going with it.
Yeah. And then King Caesar, not a fan. The Showa was way better than what we got on this one. I mean,
way better.
Gave him a push-up bra, basically, and he did nothing in the film whatsoever. Then Hidera, same. It was an okay neutral like improvement. I still prefer the Showa over this one. I think the whole finger thing is really outlandish and really, I don't know, kind of weird thinking, I guess. If you know, I'm not going to go into it. I'm just saying.
The male.
Yeah. I'll keep it at that kind of thing. But, you know, obviously didn't get a lot of time on that one, so you didn't really get to see a lot and everything. So his updated look was mid kind of thing. Kamacuras, I thought, looked a lot better. Just it was nice to kind of see him where he wasn't all puppety, kind of like Manda and everything. You know, he was quick. He had the camouflage and everything really cool. There you go, Joe, again. Another one that's just, I just like the sleeker look at it. Looked really nice and everything. Just, like I said, the attributes and the abilities were sweet. And then Kamanga. Now, come on. They barely did anything with it. I mean, all they did was make the yellow brighter, and that's it. And made it like no hair. Like they just shaved them, and then there's your spider, you know, kind of thing. Like I didn't really like that at all. I thought that was not the best way of doing it. So that was kind of lackluster for me. Zilla, I mean, it's Zilla. I mean, he got what he deserved, honestly. I mean, realistically, I mean, it was kind of an FU to the American version, honestly. Let's be honest. Like there was no ifs, ands, or buts about that kind of thing. So, but it was nice to see that and stuff. But and then I think that is it for redesigns.
Minya.
Minya. No. He's still as goofy as he was, you know, and everything like that. I don't know. They just I could take or leave him, honestly. And then Godzilla. I do really love the Godzilla design in the Millennium series. This is probably tied with my favorite out of the Millennium series, just because he is more nimble. He is quicker. You know, he can do a lot more of the wrestling kind of fighting that we're kind of used to seeing in the Showa era and stuff like that. You know, where he's a brawler and everything. It's just not all beams and stuff like that, that's nice in its own way and stuff. You know, but it's nice to see him really scrap and really get into it with the other kaiju and stuff like that, and be agile and whatever. So yeah, that's kind of my take on the whole roster.
Okay, so which one is your favorite and which one is your least favorite? Thank you for going through the roster.
My favorite would probably have to be probably Manda, honestly.
Yeah.
Manda just looked really, really cool.
Great choice.
The new suit was really nice. And then the least was probably Kumonga or King Caesar. I didn't really like those two.
Okay, right on. So for me, I agree with pretty much what all you guys have said. I overall, even my least favorite redesigns from Final Wars, I still consider really nice. I enjoy them. I think all the monsters in it got great redesigns, got updated looks, and I appreciate all of them. I think it's great work. And I can't wait to hopefully get them all in like X Plus or Bandai figures or something. Because I really am a fan of all of them. I will have to say I'm going to start with my least favorite. I have to agree with Eric. I think it's probably just Kumonga because there's no real big difference. You know, it's just kind of like here he is, just smoother with no hair, and his colors are a little brighter. And then also, I guess. Probably Ibara and Hedora in that list as well, just because it's not that I don't like their redesigns. It's just kind of like, oh, here they pretty much are. Ibara, again, here he is kind of shaved. There's not the hair and whatever. Hedora is very similar to the Showa, but again, just doesn't, for some reason, a movie made 30 years after the original, it doesn't look as droopy and wet. Now, granted, he's only in for 20 seconds, so it's hard to really tell, you know. But as far as my favorite redesigns, Godzilla for sure. Manda, awesome. I love Manda. I love the more dragon look, like you said, Eric. Anguirus, love the Final Wars Anguirus look. I don't know if you guys will consider this a redesign or not, because I know it's technically a new species, but technically not. But I'm a huge fan of Kaiser Ghidra. So, and I know it's like is it a new because of Monster X? You know what I'm saying? So like, I understand maybe why somebody, I think Adrian, that's maybe what you were alluding to earlier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I love Kaiser Ghidra. I think he's awesome. I definitely have the same complaints that a lot of the other fandom does. You know, his tail's being a little too small and his wings definitely being too small. If they ever bring Kaiser Ghidra back, and if they fix, honestly, the biggest issue is the wings. Who cares about the tails, right? Like the tails is second, but like if they can fix the wings and make him make those wings bigger, I think you'd have one of the coolest Ghidra designs out there. Because I mean, I'm such a huge fan of Descadora. So when I saw a gold and black version, pretty much of it, like hell yeah, that's freaking awesome. So yeah, that's my list. Adrian, Jordan, since you guys didn't get to go through the whole Kaiju roster, is there anybody else you would like to point out before we move on?
Sure. So Jordan already knows how I feel about Queen Caesar. So
Queen Caesar.
Of course, I hate how they did Hedora. They did Hedora so dirty. For us to never get Hedora again and until we got Final Wars and gave us that, like, no, that was bullshit. Man, I really do like Mana's design. I don't hate Ingrid's design. It's a nice upgrade. Kamakura's design was actually pretty cool. Surprisingly enough, we haven't talked about Leather Daddy Gigan yet.
Oh yeah, how'd you forget? You forgot Gigan, Eric. He's right next to you.
Well, I mean, he is pretty forgettable in the film, so I mean, it's not like I'm really forgetting that one.
See, I'll actually, you know what? I honestly can't believe I forgot Gigan. I love his redesign. Unfortunately, he does come off very weak in the film, but we'll kind of get into that a little later. But as far as a redesign, I think Gigan has. I think it looks awesome. I love it.
I think so too. It's not 72 Gigan by no means, but I really do like the upgrade that Gigan got.
Yeah, he honestly almost it looks like it looks like it could almost be like a subspecies of the Gigan, like where the Gigan from the Showa is just kind of like your general basic. This Gigan was made to almost be like a stealth tactical, assassin type Gigan, where you know what I mean, like where it's like because Gigan is half cyborg or half machine, half organic, whatever. So he's a cyborg. So it's almost kind of like they took different things of Gigan species and okay, this one's gonna be the heavy hitter. This is the defensive Gigan. This is the stealth sniper team Gigan or whatever. I don't know.
I like that, Joe. I like that.
Yeah,
makes sense.
All right. Anything else before we move on to the next question?
And actually, Martha's design in that film's not talked about that much either. Oddly enough.
Well, it's the same from.
It's not really a.
Yeah, exactly. This is the same from Tokyo SOS for the most part.
Yeah.
Copy and paste. That's all it is.
Yeah.
That's all she was in that
Yeah,
one.
and I guess we can take another minute and talk about. No, never mind. We'll do that coming up here because it's too much of a bleed over. Sorry. So, anybody else?
Oh, I mean, Adrian, you're all set with your list?
Yeah, I'm done. Go ahead, Jordan.
Yeah. So, I mean, of course, I'm gonna be biased. I love King Caesar. All right. So, regardless, now obviously, the Showa is far more superior than this one. It's just the eyes for me throws it off a lot. It draws away from that mystique that was King Caesar in Godzilla versus Mechagodzilla. But nonetheless, absolutely love him. Rodan alongside with Anguirus, they were such an eye catcher in this movie. If not just by how they presented themselves in terms of like their design, but just how they carried, the movie in a sense. Rampaging through cities, going up against Godzilla. And you'd be told, I'll even throw in some love for my boy Minya. I absolutely love Minya. Just any of like the infant Godzillas from the Godzilla Sword or Baby Godzilla in Mechagodzilla 2, Little Godzilla, and obviously Junior. I absolutely love them. Minion, this was a freaking character. I absolutely loved it. It was such like a left playing field type of energy he gave off. But again, it's traditional to like an infant Godzilla. I hate Gigan in this movie. The design, absolutely hate it. It's again, I'm a Showa guy, so especially for Gigan, even all the way through Zone Fighter, I absolutely loved Gigan there. It's crazy the amount of hate that I have for Gigan. Like the other kaiju that I have overlapping it in terms of like their designs is Ebra. Kumonga would be in the bottom with Gigan as well as Kamakuris. I mean Monster X. It's top tier right there.
Well, that's a brand new design.
Yeah, that's her design.
Yeah.
I'm literally throwing all the monsters in there and stuff like that. So I guess I'll exclude that. But yeah, like every other monster that was in this, let me see what other names that I didn't mention. I said Evra, Macris, and yeah, Anguirus. I praised Anguirus alongside with Rodan and King Caesar. I mean, of course, the big G, Godzilla. This I always identify Final Wars Godzilla as what should have been anime Godzilla. This guy goes batshit crazy. The built to the design of the suit really fit everything that he did in the movie. So yeah, I guess that would just be like my overall opinions with all the other monster designs and stuff like that.
What about Zilla?
I forgot about that. There's a reason why. Like it was just so bland, just so boring. I mean, I would have had a different opinion if they just like I guess got the exact model from TriStar and just throw it in the movie. I probably have a different opinion on it, but other than that, it's just I'll throw it away along with Gigan, Kamakuris, and Kamanga. But that's it for me.
Yeah, I'm talking about Zilla too. Yeah, Zilla.
Right on. All right. Well, should we move on?
Sure.
Yep.
Adrian.
Lost my mouse for a second.
Yeah, I know you did.
All right. What absent kaiju would you have liked to see? I think some of these are going to be pretty self-explanatory depending on the person. So let's just get it out of the way. Eric?
Well,
I think it's listen, they had 11 monsters at that point. Why not just do the full fan service and include more or whatever? So
Exactly. Listen, cameos.
well, the thing is that I don't understand is why not give us the monsters that meant a little bit more instead of some of these like throwaways, honestly. Like Kamanga, Kamakuris, you didn't need those two at all. They were I mean, Kamanga, okay, was kind of like the main baddie in Son of Godzilla, but like Kamakuris was just kind of there, and everything that you didn't need Kamanga either. The others I could kind of see a little bit more. Even Manda wasn't even like a serious player throughout the Godzilla genre, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just I don't know where their thinking was, where they picked the monsters that they did, but there was other monsters that I think deserved a lot more and their spot in the film. And honestly, if you know me, you know what I'm gonna say. It's one of them's Titanosaurus by far. Like he was a star of his own movie for the right reasons and everything.
well, I mean, it wasn't his movie.
It was his movie.
It was his movie.
It was not his movie.
It was his movie.
Titanosaurus sucked so bad they didn't even put him in the title.
Because they didn't need to. I was surprised.
I'm just kidding, Eric. You know that.
No, it was his movie. Like, yes, it was Terror Mechagodzilla, but Mechagodzilla really wasn't like the biggest terror in there. Yeah, he did his thing, but I reckon. So Titanosaurus would have been really cool. Even like they showed on these slides, Gorosaurus or Baragon or something else should have came into some of those crucial spots that I think would have been just kind of a more dynamic, because I just don't think that those monsters brought anything to it, and it would have been nice to see some like fan favorites, or maybe they could have done like a poll, and asked people, hey, what kind of, we're gonna do these set, maybe we get a couple fan favorites, and what do you guys kind of want to see in this movie and stuff like that. I just the picking of the monsters just kind of boggles my mind sometimes, honestly. So, but yeah, it would definitely be Titanosaurus for me. Would be my like number one kaiju at this point.
Okay, right on. Jordan.
So do they have to be show up monsters that only appeared in Godzilla movies?
No,
I would say no.
I'm the one that made the questions. It says what absent kaiju. It doesn't say Godzilla kaiju.
All right, because personally, I would have loved to have seen the Gargantuas in this.
Yes,
That
I
would
was
have
going
been
to say that too.
little handicap match, Godzilla versus obviously the Gargantua, Sanda and Gyra. I could definitely see Gyra being more of like the high flying, like flying assassin type, like aerial combat monster, whereas for Sanda would be more grounded, more technical. I'm trying to oh my god. Varan, I would have loved to have seen Varan in it. Even like if I were to replace 3 of the monsters that were in this with monsters that I would have seen, the monsters I would have been taken out, Ramanda, Kamakus, and Kamunga. I mean, hell, I'll even if it meant not having that historical moment where Godzilla just basically owns Zilla, I would have taken him out as well and replaced him with Megalon, Sanda and Gyra, and I guess Varan. An honorable mention would, and I've seen it in the comments here. Nathaniel actually brought it up. I would have loved to have seen how this would have played out if Jet Jaguar was in this, aiding Godzilla to go up against alongside with Mothra with all the other threats towards the end and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I guess that would be just that would be me throwing those specific individuals in there. I wouldn't throw Baragon in it only because of what we got in GMK. But at the same time, like they could have, done some work on it as well. But yeah, those would be, I guess, the monsters I would have loved to have seen in this. Varan, Sanda and Gyra, and Megalon.
Okay, right on. Real quick, let us welcome our late guest, Samson. How are you, buddy?
Doing good. Sorry about that, guys. So I guess I missed the first question.
Yeah, it's all good. Well, I tell you what, I'm gonna finish up everyone's answer on this, and then I'm gonna give you. We'll go back, and I'll let you answer the first question, and then I'll let you answer this one, and then we'll move on.
I am prepared.
Okay, Adrian, go ahead.
So, of course, like Eric said, I obviously would have tossed Titanosaurus in here. Like, you have to toss Titanosaurus in here. Titanosaurus is the biggest brawler there is. Even though Leslie did make a point since Godzilla was kind of curb stomping everybody, Titanosaurus probably did miss a bullet, dodge a bullet. But I would have loved to see Titanosaurus in here. Like Jordan said, I would love to see Gargantuas in here. I also would love to see Batra make an appearance also. Since Mothra kind of got mollywopped, I wouldn't mind that Batra come in trying to help Godzilla out during the battle. And if I had, and actually to take a monster from the Millennium era, also I wouldn't mind seeing Megaguirus in here too. That would have been a nice callback also. We just got it a few years earlier. I wouldn't mind seeing Megaguirus in there. Why not?
Okay. All right, yeah. I mean, honestly, all great answers, and I won't take too long because most everybody kind of mentioned everything that I was going to say. The only couple that I apologize if somebody said it, maybe I just forgot, but Baragon for sure. Baragon has a soft spot in my heart. I think him and Anguirus are kind of like my favorite dinosaurian type monsters.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I love Baragon, so that would be awesome. And also kind of like Mogera. I think Mogera could have been a cool addition. We had a Showa Mogera, we had a Heisei Mogera, would have kind of kept the the three-peat or whatever the trend alive, if you will. And Mogera, not being as powerful as a Mechagodzilla, it would have been a great maybe defense vehicle or defense robot that the Earth could have used, maybe for like natural disasters with the drilling aspects and whatever. or save with earthquakes or volcanoes or whatever. But then also for Kaiju, one of their vehicles they use to keep the Kaiju outbreaks under control. And then let's see. Leslie says, honestly, I would have loved to have seen Kaiju or Mechagodzilla team with Godzilla in the end instead of Mothra. That could have been cool too. For sure. I think I don't know. Godzilla and Mechagodzilla teamed up. That would have been a pretty hard team to beat, For sure. That would have been cool. But yeah, so Mogera and Baragon, those two for sure pop out. There's a few in the Heisei films that I wouldn't have mind seeing come back, and I think they could have but they would have kind of had to have changed the story a little bit. Biollante Space Godzilla could have maybe been like the final villain type things where they were messing around with Godzilla's genetics or something, but the aliens obviously didn't know about Godzilla. So Eric, you got something, bud?
Yeah, I just want to add with Leslie's comment. I just think that if they added Kiryu into it, it actually would have tied those two films together with the final one. Could have made a little bit more continuity with the franchise and everything instead of kind of doing like its own. It would have shown that like Japan's like self-defense force was a little bit more ready for say Godzilla. Yeah, they trapped him in ice and everything, but obviously they shouldn't have like decommissioned the Mechagodzilla just in case he ever caught out. It just would have shown that the human race threw everything they could at the Exilians, and they even toppled, the Mechagodzilla that they had to fight off Godzilla, and it was even beaten by the Exilians and stuff that would have just made it feel real, like life-threatening and like world-ending. Like, oh crap! Like we have our last resort. I mean, they had all these weird new great value Gotangos kind of flying around everywhere. It's like, where did that all come from? But like it would have been nice to see that they had that kind of defense, even against Godzilla or other kaiju, because even in the beginning they talked about kaiju attacking Japan, back in the day and everything like that, about Gaira and Godzilla and I can't remember who else it was, maybe Mothra or something like that. But so it's like it would have been nice to see that the defense force like had this, and then Exilians just beat that up and everything, and they were like, oh crap, like we're down to the Gotango, that's all we have left. We don't even, this is our last ditch effort to try to save the world and everything, and then maybe later come back and maybe they somehow get the Mechagodzilla up and running, and it could have been Godzilla Mechagodzilla kind of going against the Exilians. I don't know, but it just would have shown a little bit more dire dread for the human race, I think.
Well, I think we've talked about this before on some of our other streams. The finished trilogy of X Mechagodzilla and then Tokyo SOS, if they would have went with what Final War or whatever it was originally supposed to be, it was supposed to be a rebuilt Mechagodzilla with the mechanical versions of all the other kaiju fighting each other. Oh, and wow. There's I believe there's a concept art or something that I believe check Toho Kingdom, I believe it is, that has it up there. And obviously they never went with that idea. Apparently it didn't get further off the much off the ground of just kind of throwing ideas and like, hey, here's a couple sketches type thing. And they obviously went with the Final Wars, but that would have been a really cool
concept.
Concept idea too, and also I don't know if everyone's aware of this, but Zilla was kind of a last minute addition. There was concept art instead of Zilla. It was actually supposed to be Gorosaurus.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I forgot about Gorosaurus.
And because I remember following, again, I think it was Toho Kingdom that was releasing. If it wasn't Toho Kingdom, maybe it was Sci-Fi Japan. Can't remember. Don't quote me. Sorry. It was 20 years ago. They had the concept art of each monster up there for Final Wars, and that would have been to me personally, I would have rather have seen Gorosaurus. He has more lineage with the Godzilla franchise, but I'm okay with Zilla making an appearance as well. So, Samson, since we're on this question, why don't you go ahead and answer it, and then I'll have you go back to do one. So, what absent kaiju would you have liked to have seen?
I'm landing with Varan because he has an absence in the Godzilla community other than his little tiny cameo in Destroy All Monsters and then his own singular film. We were supposed to get him in GMK. They scrapped that, which kind of sucks. It would have been interesting to see a modern day Varan. And he doesn't have a lot of presence other than his 2 films from back in the 50s and 60s. So there's that. And excuse me, to answer number 1 question. Okay. Favorite Godzilla design or favorite redesign? It's got to be the Godzilla himself, but I'm sure you guys have already said that. If I were going to go with a different one, I'm going to say Manda. They did a really good job with Manda. I think he is just from what he was in his original movie and then in Destroy All Monsters to this reptilian beast that he is. They scrapped him so fast, though. I was saying last night when we were watching the film how it would have been so great if they didn't kill him off as fast as they did so that we could have gotten a battle between Godzilla and Manda on screen instead of just the one deleted scene from Destroy All Monsters. Least favorite design. Did everybody shit on the Minya? Did we shit on that thing?
Surprisingly, no, not really. They were pretty forgiving. Yeah. A lot of
did y'all just forget about him? I mean, it's understandable, but
no, I think the general consensus was Kumonga.
Really?
Well, just because it's not really like our opinion was basically it's not really a redesign. He looks the exact same. It's just that he's not hairy. He's smooth, and his colors are a little bit more vibrant. So it's not that we didn't like him. It's just that he wasn't really that redesigned, which is why we kind of felt that way.
Well, I guess that makes sense because I mean it's the 2000s. We shave now. It's the 60s. They kept that. We kept the pubic hair among us. So, yeah, makes sense.
Jesus.
But no, yeah. So favorite other than Godzilla, favorite kaiju that's not Godzilla, because I think we all can say we really dig the Final Wars athletic suit Godzilla. Yeah, it's Manda. They did a really good job with that just dinosaur or dragon-like redesign.
Oh, and that's honestly one I think we all agreed on, Samson, that or we had all mentioned that Manda had one of the best redesigns. And to piggyback off what you said about for question 2, and I think, and we've all talked about this before as well, like you bringing in Varan, or even Eric saying obviously he wanted Titanosaurus. I think that's one of the things that we
Eric and Titanosaurus,
right, that we can all agree on, like in the Godzilla community, is that there's a lot of these kaiju that have only been in one movie or maybe 2, and they were in a movie 50 60 years ago, and it's like we want them back. We want to see them. We want to see Titanosaurus, Gorosaurus, Varan, these Megalon, these guys that have only come back once, or only been in one movie and never even come back once. There's a deep well of Godzilla and Toho kaiju that they could recycle and bring back, even if it's just for co-star roles or cameo. And I don't even want to say cameos because I'd like to see them in bigger roles, but there's a lot Toho could work with. I think we can all agree with that.
Oh, yeah.
Leslie has a question, so let's do a quick sidebar. Excuse me. Please answer this question. What kaiju had the more disappointing comeback? Gigan, Hedorah, or King Caesar? I'm going to answer this one first. I'm going to say Hedorah. Adrian?
Oh, I absolutely agree. Hedorah.
Eric?
All 3.
All right.
No, you can't do that. You got to nail it down. You keep doing that pop out answer shit where you don't actually pick one.
Okay. I'll pick one. I'll pick Gigan.
Whoa! All right. Jordan.
As much as I hate Gigan, that's Hedorah. Rightfully, unfortunately,
it's hard to not pick Hedorah considering he was literally only in it for what, 10 seconds?
Yeah. And not only that, was just like what he did in the original Godzilla versus Hedorah movie.
Yes.
Like,
Shit.
Yeah.
he was a fucking menace, you know, like he, in my opinion, he put in more of a work on Godzilla than Gigan, Ghidorah, and Mechagodzilla. That's just my opinion. So seeing this was just like, oh damn it. Like I remember seeing it with the first time when I was a little kid, and I was just like so disappointed. But yeah, Hedorah for sure.
Okay.
You're
Samson.
Yeah, Hedorah didn't have any screen time. He got body slammed by a giant crab, and then just atomic breath across the city into a fireball of mayhem. He had more screen time in the ending credits than he did in the actual film itself.
Yeah.
When we were watching last night, I was like, "Holy shit! Look at all these scenes that they just didn't put in the why?"
Yeah.
It was and I remember seeing the pre-release like photos, like some concept and stuff like that. There was like a shot of Godzilla kind of like holding hands. They kind of looked like they were dancing, and he was spraying that smoke out of that one little chest dick thing that he had, and they scrapped the hell out of him.
Yeah. Yeah. Nathaniel says Hedorah. And as far as roster change, Nathaniel says Megalon. I think we could all agree on the Megalon.
Yeah.
Quick shout out to our very own Celeste. What is going on, girl? She is her and Christian are at San Diego Comic-Con right now, living it up. We're all jealous. She's sending us pictures, which quick sidebar, if you guys are interested in San Diego Comic-Con coverage with all things related to Godzilla and Toku, following this stream about an hour or so after the stream, maybe 2 hours after the stream, we are going to be going live again with the whole Monsters with Attitude crew, talking about everything shown off or talked about at Comic-Con. Celeste and Christian, I think, will be joining us as well. And we are also going to be live streaming the Wonderfest goodies that are going to be shown tonight. So make sure you guys follow us after this. And of course, how could I forget our brother from another mother who is absent,
Debatable.
who has been taking some time away, but we miss him and love him. Michael Hamilton. Hello, brother. We love you. We miss you.
Love
We
you,
hope
Michael.
you're doing well. And Michael's like a Chad now. He's like all working out and has like the little swoop-de-doo hair, you know.
Fucking has
He
good
gets the
mental
pedicures
health.
and the manicures, you know. So
He's taking care of himself so selfishly, just
yeah.
eating good, having
Mhm.
just mental capacity to do things. Yeah, it's instead of being here with us. Yeah.
Mhm. All right, so we are only 2 questions in, and we're about an hour, so we got to start moving.
Got the boogie.
Let's boogie, boys.
Oh, right.
All right, humans returning in new. What is everyone's thoughts? Let's see. Let's start with Samson this time.
Jeez. Echo? What the hell?
Yeah, you were
Is everybody else hearing that? Who's has something? Okay,
good now.
that's
You're
better.
good now.
Okay. Well, you gotta love having old Toho cast coming in. We got Kira Takarada. I always blank on the name.
Kumi Mizuno.
Yes. And then wasn't Kinji Sahara? Wasn't he the scientist in when who else? I mean, we had a lot of reoccurring cast, and that was great. It was awesome to see all those folks still acting to their fullest potential in the Godzilla films. Oh boy, new cast. We all love Don Fry. We all love just the big main dude. I mean, we gotta love him, just like his lines and just his presence and all that stuff. I don't know how I feel about the whole Matrix Dragon Ball Z characters, though. It was kind of that was a weird mix. We've never seen much of anything like that. I know that's big in the 2000 aughts, but I don't know. I kind of just feel like their scenes added. That's why the movie's 2 hours long. All these fucking ridiculous Dragon Ball Z fight scenes that they had in the movie is because of those ridiculous characters. But overall, it's fun. It's good. It's entertaining.
Okay, Jordan.
Despite seeing familiar faces from the past and newer characters, it was definitely a different direction that they went, or not so much different. It was still like the traditional formula of, aliens are trying to take over the world, we need to stop them. Mumbo jumbo. Seeing Akira Takarada, I mean, it's always a joy to see that man in the line of work with Godzilla again. Whether if he's a good guy or a bad guy, however he wants to, partake in his role in a Godzilla movie or just any, Toho movie at that. It was lovely seeing him. Don Fry, oh my goodness. Masakatsu Funaki, the general who kind of threw his body out while the rest of the Exilians were being mind controlled, duking it out. Bunch of MMA legends in there. I guess I really didn't. I think we say this a lot with Godzilla movies. I really didn't care that much for the human cast. I will say they did draw my attention though with just the wacky tobacco stuff that was going on. But that'd be it, I guess. Again, nice seeing Akira Takarada and a bunch of other familiar faces. The newer characters were okay. Again, traditional to the Godzilla lore with alien invasion type of storyline. And just Don Fry took it. He was, if anything, he should have been the main character in the entire movie.
For sure. Easy.
Yeah, I mean, this cast, like, I love the old school, like they said, Akira Takarada, Kumi Mizuno, Kenji Sahara. I mean, the big three from Godzilla was a must to have. Like, I'm glad they did that. I really am. You could have probably thrown in a few more in there. Would have been really cool to see. But there was still other cast members that we had seen throughout, like the Millennium and the Heisei series and stuff like that. That might not get the notoriety that they kind of get, but you remember their faces and everything like that. And then obviously Don Fry. I mean, he stole the show. He was the character of characters. I mean, the one-liners he had are just phenomenal. He, for his first acting gig, like I thought he did a very good job. It is being a foreign film and stuff. It was just everything he did was gold. And I know a lot of people hate his acting and don't like him. That's fine. That's your opinion. But for what it was and the type of movie it was, it kind of really fit, honestly. And he just did such a good job. Now,
here's the Steven Seagal of the Godzilla universe.
Yeah. The newer cast was fine, but I will say overall, I thought the acting was atrocious. Like, it was very bad. I'm being honest. Like, it was very bad. Like, it wasn't very good at all. It wasn't believable. They were very over exaggerating on all of their things that they were trying to portray and put across and everything, from their feelings to hurt or sad or whatever. It's just really pushing it a little too far, I guess, and it just wasn't believable. So the acting was kind of tough to get through. Now, mind you, I actually liked this movie when it first came out and stuff like that, but as I've gotten older and keep watching it and everything, it's losing its luster for me for sure. So it's just you just kind of go into this movie just strictly watching the kaiju action and literally get out. Like, you watch kaiju action, get out, movie's done, kind of thing. So great throwbacks for the old. Don Fry killed it. The new cast was okay, but the overall performances suck.
Now, is that the performance or the dubbing? Is the thing?
Both.
Yeah, the dubbing was.
The dubbing wasn't great. Yeah, the dubbing was very terrible. Very terrible. But like, at the same time, like, what they were putting on screen, you could tell, like, it just wasn't believable. Even if it wasn't Japanese, you didn't get that sense of what they were trying to do or believable. It wasn't there for me.
All right.
X.
Adrian.
Yeah. God. That scene.
Honestly, Eric kind of hit it on the head. It was great seeing the old cast there, Dawn Fried, but the new cast characters we got was just atrocious. Acting was atrocious. I legit watched this movie to watch Zilla die, and that's pretty much it. And see Monster X, but yeah, the human characters and fucking rocks.
Well, I guess has everybody gone on this question?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Samson, you haven't?
No, I was first. I was saying, yep. I was like, yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess I will be the outlier. I love this film. I don't know if it's because it's the first Godzilla film I saw in theater at G-Fest. Obviously, the first Godzilla film I saw in the theater was Godzilla 2000. But I just have such a soft spot for this film. I thoroughly enjoy it. I like the new cast. As well as the old. I'm not going to go down and rehash everything that everybody said. It was great to see all the familiar faces, even if they were just like quick little cameos at the beginning or whatever, just to see all those faces that we kind of grew up with. That was just awesome. It was very fitting. I like the new cast. Yeah, they were all kind of probably hired because they're all pretty and stuff. I get that, but Masahiro, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, Matasoka or something. The main guy, the main mutant who, Goku.
Yeah, Dollar General Gohan. Yeah.
Yeah. I liked him. I even liked Kazuki Kitamura, the young Exilian leader. I loved him. I thought he played it great. Obviously Don Fry stole the show, like everybody said. He's the best for sure. Maki Mizuno, the main female hero. She's a reporter. Beautiful. I could look at her all day. But I think that you guys are all missing what was truly the best character, and Leslie kind of ruined it for me, but it is I don't know what you heard about me, but I'm a motherfucking PIMP from the New York scene.
Oh my god!
Yeah. I gotta find where is Leslie's here it is. This is from Leslie. He said that pimp character set us black folks back 200 years.
400 years, Leslie. 400 years.
I can't disagree. I mean, I don't know if that's like what the Japanese think happens in New York or something. But yeah, that was bad. That was bad.
Or even the hobo too. The hobo was great too.
Great.
Go for it.
Oh yeah.
Big bird. Oh, we gotta get out of here.
Yeah. Well, what about Glenn?
Oh God.
Which one's Glenn? Is that the cop?
That's the two guys.
Those two guys.
Defend at the Antarctica base. Where Godzilla
with their Hawaii 5-0 shirts in Antarctica, right?
Yeah.
Boy, if they'd have kept that New York scene dubbed like it was actually, I mean, you saw what their mouths were actually saying. This movie would have had a hard R.
No pun intended.
What I would have loved to have seen as like a honorable mention, like a few seconds of screen time between both of them separately, or even better yet, together. Especially to commemorate at the time 50 years of Godzilla. Oh my goodness, I would have loved to seen a scene between Kenpachiro Satsuma and Haru Nakajima.
We should have gotten that. That would be beautiful.
Outside of the suits, just like the passing of the torch,
chilling. Yeah,
that's something I would have loved to have seen.
Yeah,
I wanted to throw it out there.
No, that's a great.
Those should have been the guys guarding the Godzilla suit. Those two old geezers guarding the Godzilla, or guarding the Godzilla. They should have been the ones, not whatever we got. Starsky and Hutch or whatever they were. It's
Yeah,
Hey,
no, I agree.
I keep blanking on it. The bald Exilian, the Charlie Brown looking dude. Who was he in the past? What was he in that I've seen him in the past?
Oh my God, I found out about this a few weeks ago. What?
Because I know we've seen him. Who was he in other Godzilla films?
Wasn't he the original controller?
No.
Oh.
Yes, Godzilla versus Megaguirus.
Oh, is he the prime
was
minister or something? Was that who, or whatever the guy that the?
No, he wasn't the prime minister.
That's what he played in Megaguirus.
Mm-mm.
But he was in Megaguirus. At the end, he got socked in the face on top of the roof.
Yeah.
That's him.
Oh, yeah, he was that guy. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right. Anything else anybody wants to say about the cast before we move on? I think we can all agree Don Fry for life.
Do better.
The boy, this movie.
I thought I told you guys to get back to the screen.
So destroy all monsters versus Final Wars. Who did it better and why? This is a question that we kind of tackled a few shows ago.
Yes.
But I'm interested now to see, now that it's had time to kind of ferment in everyone's brains, if their opinions and whatnot have changed. I'm just going to go right down the line. I'm actually going to go last again. So let's go with Adrian.
Ooh, y'all know how I feel about Destroy All Monsters. You know exactly how I feel about Destroy All Monsters. But y'all also know how I feel about Final Wars too. But God. Between the two, I'm always going to choose Final Wars because one, Final Wars felt more like there was more at stake in the film. As ridiculous as that damn movie is, you definitely feel the stakes in that movie more than you do in Destroy All Monsters. And two, it's just more entertaining. I don't get joy out of watching King Ghidorah get curb stomped by 4 kaiju. I don't like that whatsoever. I don't like the stupid ass fire dragon whatsoever. So I will always watch Final Wars 100 times more than I will watch Damn. All day, every day. Eric?
All right.
Damn.
Okay, so you don't like King Ghidorah getting curb stomped, but you're okay with 9 or 10 other kaiju alumni getting curb stomped?
At least he got curb stomped by Godzilla.
Godzilla was fighting King Ghidorah, so he got curb stomped by Godzilla also. I'm just saying. I'm gonna go Destroy All Monsters. Like it's not even a no-brainer here. There's more going for Destroy All Monsters than there is Final Wars. Like we agreed, we talked about this I think on our Monsterverse discussion and everything where we kind of touched on this. Final Wars was, the notion of the world ending was apparent, and I get that, and I acknowledge that. But overall, as a full film, Destroy All Monsters was better. The music was better. The kaiju action was better. The acting was better. There's not much more you could say. I think overall, Destroy All Monsters, the fire dragon thing, which I know is a sour spot for Adrian and me. Like that was a big dick tease, honestly. Because I thought there was a brand new monster coming out of the woodworks. I was like, holy crap. And then found out it was just a stupid spaceship kind of thing. I do agree with that. That was one of the bigger troll moves by Toho. But overall, the film Destroy All Monsters is just better. I just love it cohesively, and the story was a lot better. I just liked it more than Final Wars. So.
Okay. Jordan, who's I can't see.
I'm still here. Oh, there we go.
Samson.
Well, this is kind of a tough question because it's a matter of I guess it's a matter of the topic, like which movie is better in general, or which one was a more world-ending. Which one represented the world ending better?
Better.
It's your opinion.
Oh yeah, it's your opinion, whatever.
I mean, I like Destroy All Monsters more because it's a golden era Godzilla film. It's classic. It was one of the first ones that I watched growing up. But world ending, the representation of Final Wars, we had that compilation scene of the kaiju in different cities all over the world, and like the good guy spaceships crashing everywhere, and the exilian little saucers or whatever you call them, the little knife ships flying around, and the cities burning, the cities actually being destroyed. And there was more of a threat. There was more of a feeling of like, oh God, the world is actually truly ending in Final Wars versus Destroy All Monsters. It was like, okay, just Japan is ending in Destroy All Monsters. But they did a better job in Final Wars with the world ending theme. So that's my opinion. Destroy All Monsters, overall better film. Final Wars, better at representing the world being screwed.
Jordan?
It's a tough one. Destroy All Monsters has a special place in my heart. It's one of the first movies I grew up watching. It's a movie that also piqued my interest with seeing multiple monsters all in one, sitting in one screen, duking it out, whether if it's amongst each other or to team up to defeat one big threat. Well, last night while we were watching Final Wars with Samson, I mentioned my first experience. First time ever watching Godzilla Final Wars. My dad rented out Godzilla Final Wars from Hollywood Videos and presented it to me and my brother Christmas Eve. So we were getting ready to watch the movie. We're all excited about it. And he's like, wait, but we got to watch it tomorrow on Christmas. It's the only Godzilla movie ever where me, my mother, my father, all of my brothers, my grandparents, even my aunt and my cousins gathered around to sit in my grandparents' living room Christmas Day to watch. And it was like watching WrestleMania. So for that specific reason, and this is not to downplay Destroy All Monsters, but I'm gonna have to go with Godzilla Final Wars. Obviously, it was definitely more of a end of the world threat type of vibe. We definitely got that. And again, you guys know I'm big into anime. If there's any, and I said it earlier, I always describe a Final Wars Goji as what should have been a proper anime adaptation of Godzilla. And I get that in this entire movie, so I'll always throw Final Wars in front of Destroy All Monsters for me personally.
All right. So it sounds like everybody, I think, but Eric said Final Wars, which, sorry, E, I got to agree with everybody else on this one. I give it to Final Wars. The stakes, the threat seemed bigger in Final Wars. There seemed to be that sense of dread where it wasn't. I forget who said it, but it wasn't just Japan that got destroyed. It was the whole world. There's monsters everywhere. The cities are burning. Our armies are destroyed. Our warships, our most advanced technologies are crashing and burning. We lost. We lose. And it shows we lose. And I loved that. And even Don Fry's, the Earth is lost. We lost. It's time for Operation Final War. I love that. It's, that's super cool. I definitely think I understand I think Jordan, you just said this, having, all 11 monsters on screen at one time was pretty cool. That what Destroy All Monsters did, but 4 or 5 of them didn't do anything really. They just sat there. At least, even though Hedorah was only on screen for 10 seconds, at least he did something. At least we got to see him in battle, even if it was quick. Even if Ibira didn't really fight Godzilla, he fought the humans. Like each one of the other in Final Wars, at least they did something, whether it was brief or not. So yeah, I got to give it to Final Wars. I just think the world building feel of what happened throughout the movie was more felt in Final Wars. And honestly, again, you guys have talked about this, so I won't spend too much time on it. But the fire dragon thing, it was super disappointing. At least at the end of Final Wars, you think, oh, okay, Godzilla's made it to the ship. He's gonna fight Gigan again, which we already kind of knew, and then you knew because of the concept art of Monster X. But if you avoided spoilers and you were like, okay, like Monster X is the final guy, and it's like, no, he's not. And then he's Monster X is fighting Godzilla.
Yeah.
And we'll get to this a little later, so I don't want to spend too much time on it. But for as powerful as Godzilla was, Monster X was going toe to toe with him. And then they threw the quote unquote fire dragon surprise at the end that Monster X isn't alone. Or that this isn't even my final form, and transforms, which we'll get to. So yeah, I got to give it to Final Wars for sure.
I'll tell you, when we discussed it last, is when we talked about the animated series. When we were talking about Monster Wars, that's when we started talking about Final Wars and the ending, how it had a real vibe of like Final Wars kind of maybe fed off of animated series. I don't know who really knows if that's true or not, because 1998 to 2004, it's like the animated series kind of did it first with Monster Wars.
Sorry, Samson, go ahead.
That's it. That was.
I'm actually glad, Samson, you brought up the animated series, because one of my complaints that I talked about the animated movies that Toho did is that should have been their way to go crazy in a way that they couldn't afford to do in movies. Like to me, the animated films, the 3 parts, like they should have almost like redone Final Wars and those 3-part things, and like all this stuff that you wanted to do, make it into a 3-part animated film where you can slow down the fights a little bit. You can show more of the destruction. Like the animated films should have been these wild, crazy ideas that were cut because of budgetary reasons. We talked about earlier where they wanted to do a mechanical version of every monster and kind of like a new version of Destroy All Monsters, right? Like that would have been a great animated film. Godzilla Final Wars could have been a great animated film as well, to show that story, elaborate on the story, slow down the pace of the film, because it is kind of like, I mean, it's a long Godzilla film, but it's kind of like once Godzilla goes, it's like, go, and they could have slowed that down a little bit. I understand why they didn't for the live action, but for in animated purposes they could have, or even if wanting to do a Destroy All Monsters film, or Shin Godzilla. He's crazy looking, and all these random ideas that they wanted to do where it's going to be Godzilla human-esque type things. Like that would have been a great idea to explore and animate it. And I think Final Wars falls into that category of they could have done so much more in an animated feature or series of films. So, all right, I'm off my soapbox.
Limit.
Anything else before we move on?
I guess the last thing I want to say is, because I know Leslie's brought this up a lot whenever we're talking about these 2 films. If Godzilla, because remember, Destroy All Monsters was supposed to be the original ending of the Godzilla series. So the way I always think about it is, which one would I have been okay with ending? Destroy All Monsters or Godzilla Final Wars? Because we thought we had no more Godzilla after Final Wars back in 2004. We had no clue who was be able to make any more at that point. It took us 10 years to get another Godzilla film. I was annoyed that Final Wars was the final Godzilla movie for us then, but I would have been highly pissed off if we ended with Destroy All Monsters, honestly.
So we'll hang on. We'll get there, guys.
I want to dissect this a little bit here.
Yeah, we'll get there.
Okay. Are boys ready?
Yes, sir.
The Lion King.
Would this have been a fitting final film?
Absolutely not.
Adrian, go ahead, since you were the one.
Please keep going.
No, don't stop on our count. Keep
I might as well keep going. Because I mean, again, the way the story on monsters kind of ended, it was just kind of like, oh, shit, that's it. Okay. At least with Final Wars, it actually felt like the ending of Godzilla. Again, like I mentioned earlier, was I annoyed that was the ending of Godzilla? Of course I was. But if Destroy All Monsters would have been the last Godzilla film that came out, I'd have been highly pissed off. And as much as people do enjoy Destroy All Monsters, I think a lot of other people would have been upset about that too. In my opinion, again, just my opinion. My opinion does not speak for everybody on this panel. That's just my thoughts and my hatred for Destroy All Monsters. But since I already got on my soapbox earlier, who wants to go next? I guess.
Well, all right, Eric. Do you need a minute to formulate? You want me to come back to you?
No, that's fine.
No, I can feel the heat off of him. I'm going to duck down a little bit, actually.
Well, I'm trying to dissect and understand his thinking because, okay, so when Final Wars came out, they knew, like, at that time that it was the end. Okay, this is their final film. This is their last hurrah, whatever. Destroy All Monsters, I don't think they actually knew or thought that was going to be the absolute end because obviously a year later, we got another Godzilla movie. Okay. So to me, yeah, I think Destroy All Monsters would have been a nice ending because you have basically all the monsters for the most part showed up throughout the previous movies. You had the big baddie who had appeared in several movies prior to Destroy All Monsters, which was King Ghidorah, be the last villain. And then finally, they all come together to finally destroy King Ghidorah because the other movies, he didn't die. He escaped. He got away. Okay. He was never officially beaten. Okay. So to me, that kind of tied up a nice little bow to everything in Destroy All Monsters because like everything, all the good guys won. Godzilla's triumphant. He kills his nemesis and King Ghidorah and everything with the help. The monsters break the control. They find out where the key locks are. They smash their base and kill them and everything. And all is right in the world and stuff like that. Basically, that happened in Final Wars. But they knew this was the final film. So the send-off at the very end, especially with Godzilla and Manila, that was the dumbest change name I can think of. They purposely put that ending in there because they so-called knew it was going to be the end. And so they had this drastic, goodbye with Godzilla swimming out to sea with the sun setting, all that stuff. Basically what they did was 75 and everything. Same concept because they knew right then and there that they thought it was the end. And so that's why they gave that nice send-off and everything like that and whatnot. So I think it's different thinking because of Final Wars, them knowing it was the end, and Destroy All Monsters, I don't think they knew that was the end. I don't think they're going into this and saying this is the very end of the Godzilla series. This is how we're going to do it.
So then why don't we have the discussion?
Ow.
Is this a good final film? Verse 75, verse 95, 2004. Like that's maybe the discussion we should be having then.
Absolutely.
So
I would
in other words, Adrian, you're wrong. I don't even know why you brought up you're stupid.
You're just finding an excuse to shit on Destroy All Monsters. God damn. What did it ever do to you? Are you okay? Do you need to talk? Are you all right, buddy?
Let's actually, let's change up the format a little bit. Let's have a discussion.
75, 95, 2004.
Yeah, so 75, 95, 2004. Which one, and let's argue it out a little bit if you all want. I mean, Which one is better and why? I'm gonna say, to me, 95 followed by Final Wars followed by 75. And I'm gonna say that because 95 it ends, it's somber. Godzilla finally dies. He may have been beaten in other films, he may have been mortally wounded in other films, but he always regenerates, he always comes back. But he finally dies in this film, and it's super sad. And you just think, wow, that's it. The legacy is over. But in the last second, as the radiation is dissipating and the smoke is clearing, there's Junior revived to take the place. The prince is now the king. He's taking over his father's role, his father's mantle. So it gives you kind of hope, and he's roaring, and then bam, it's done. And and it really was done. They were given the rights over to America, to TriStar, and that was it. So, and then number 2, I said Final Wars. I think the ending was great. It had a great fan service throughout the whole film, with all the returning characters, all the returning monsters, little threads and little snippets of things that you saw in prior Godzilla films. I thought that was great. And then at the very end, Godzilla beats his arch nemesis, the main bad of the Godzilla franchise, Ghidorah, in his most all-powerful form, according to Shinichi Wakasa. He was supposed to be the Kaiser, the Ghidorah of Ghidorahs, right? And he finally beats him, and what happens? Him and Minya roar, and they literally ride off into the sunset after this great epic battle, this epic journey where everything is destroyed and everything is blown to shit. Rides off into the sunset. All the monsters are vanquished. The invading force is gone. Happily ever after. 75, great film, but I just think besides just, okay, I'm going to sleep, just the little roar at the end, it doesn't have that quite climactic feel that I think the other two do. So Adrian, do you have anything else to add, or since we're kind of changing it up a little bit?
I do, and I hate to admit it, you are right in that particular order, because that Godzilla versus Destroyer is just, the ending was just hit every single emotion in the film. So there's no argument with that. Final Wars, as much as I disdain the film, it did tie everything together at the end as well. Whereas Terra Mega Godzilla, of course it's one of my favorite films, but the ending was this kind of this Godzilla just going to a sunset, and right. He was just leaving like every other 70s Godzilla.
Exactly.
It was not really too much of a ending there necessarily. As much I hate to say it, because I love Terra Mega Godzilla, but you're right, Joe, in the exact order that you put it in.
Yeah. Well, and it's basically like you said, 75. If something different would have happened at the end that we hadn't seen in 10 other, Godzilla films, I could be like, oh, okay, he's riding off to the sunset. Okay, but we kind of already saw that.
72, 71.
But that's the thing, like with 75, now I'm not going to say 75 is the best ending, but with 75, it's not like it needed this over-the-top farewell. It was
yes, it did, because we're talking about these being the final. If 75 was it, there would have been no Heisei and Beyond. If 95 was it, there would have been no Millennium, no Reiwa, no Monsterverse. If 2004, you know what I'm saying? So that's where my scope is coming from. Yeah. Is that would that have been a true final Godzilla film? Nothing else, no American, no sequel series, no nothing.
So my thing is that what I was going to say is that because to me, like I said, Godzilla didn't need this big farewell. Okay, so Godzilla was the good guy. By 75, he was the good guy. He'd been a good guy for most of the Showa series. Honestly, he came, he did what he was supposed to do, save the world, and leave. He didn't need a party. He didn't need a goodbye, Godzilla, thank you, whatever. He came, he did what he was supposed to do, or what he wanted to do to save the world, and then he just left peacefully with that setting the sun, the drawn back shot of Godzilla going into the water and going off to where he, normally is and stuff like that in the sea and stuff. And I still think like just the simplicity of that is still very beautiful because it doesn't need to do all this stuff. Now, mind you, I'm not saying it's the best. I will agree. 95, I think, was the best just because of the tone of the movie, the setting, everything built up to that very end. Like you couldn't build it any more perfect. As much as I hate watching that movie because he dies and everything, and I don't care if Leslie makes fun of me. I don't care. I don't like seeing Godzilla die. It's just, it's something that I don't love to see. But
you big softy.
Exactly. But watching that film and watching the lead up, watching and hearing the music and the shots and the ending, and then Junior not dying, he's the one who absorbed all the power, and then the Godzilla legacy is living on, is great because now it's not a sad, somber movie because you thought he was dying. His legacy is going on with Junior and everything like that. So I agree. Like 95 is the better one. 75 would be next, and then 68, and then Final Wars for me. That's my ranking.
Wow.
We ain't talking about 68.
Yeah, no, we're talking like and like where they knew
ending the franchise. Yeah.
Yeah.
We got to talk about Destroyer next year.
Jordan.
For me, in order, it would go Final Wars 95 and then 75. Only because, I mean, Eric, me and you were on the same like wavelength with this. I hate to see Godzilla die. It obviously it is such an impactful moment within our community. It's one that everybody tends to revisit all the time. Well, shit, I guess stack a pair of fucking tissues for both me and Eric because
here you go, guys. Here, take it.
That's for your glasses.
That's your happy rag. I don't want that.
Yeah.
No, that's right here. That's
Oh, what the hell?
God.
It's all damped, but anyways, so that's why
I was washing figures, you dirty miscreant.
Okay,
God.
you know what? Okay.
I was cleaning these bad boys up last night, my dusty marmots.
Talking about crying a fucking river, Jesus. So anyways, no, but that would be why 95 is second place for me. It did feel satisfying, obviously, seeing Junior be resurrected into the next Godzilla. But for me, Final Wars when made it such a fitting ending. I mean, obviously the tone to what had happened, the sun was rising. Obviously, all hell was now taken out of the element of the hellish experience that the Earthlings and all the other main protagonists in the movie had experienced with Godzilla's aid. He sets off into the sunset with Minya or Milla, however they pronounced him in the freaking dubbing. The scoring to the movie was incredible, especially towards the end. And the end credits was what really helped me. Basically, it convinced me this is it. 75 really didn't do shit other than we got a fucking shot of the fake Godzilla suit and then it going out into the freaking ocean. Personally,
hey.
Hey, this is, they don't call me the realist for nothing, so I gotta be fucking honest. Personally, I'm more of a fan of 72's ending with the proper send off to Haru Nakajima's last hoorah playing Godzilla. I prefer that over 75.
I was thinking that too, actually. I'm glad you said
yeah, it's just like we get the nice close-up shot, the slow time frame of Godzilla's close-up shot before he roars, and then him and Anguirus swimming off into the sunrise the next day after experiencing a hellish bout.
And that song.
Yeah, I was gonna say, even with that song that was sung at the end, Listen, I got my glasses on, so I ain't blind for shit. All right? I see bullshit everywhere. Oh my goodness. I even have eyes right in the back of my head, even in the top. Oh my goodness. Nah, but so that would be my list. Final Wars was just for me a more fitting ending. It fit the tone. 95. Listen, it was, even if we never had the Millennium Era afterwards, even if we never had Gino afterwards, I would have been completely fine with how the Godzilla franchise ended in 95. But yeah, 75 was just not hitting it for me.
Samson?
Okay, so y'all have given me some thoughts with your opinions. I kind of had a definitive answer, but now I'm like, oh shit, you know what? I'm struggling between 95 and 04 now. Eric and Jordan, wrong way. Jordan made the valid point of like, when I was a kid, I bawled because I thought, oh, Junior died and Godzilla died, and it sucked. Yeah. It was like it was like, this is disappointing. But now as an adult, realizing everything that went into play, it is amazing to see the passing of the torch, the burning Godzilla, the Godzilla that came. I'm assuming that 84 through 95, it's the same, isn't it? The Millennium Godzilla or Heisei Godzilla, the same one throughout, or is it just 89 through 95? Is the burning Godzilla the same one?
Yes.
Or,
it's 80,
Yeah.
Yeah, because 84 comes out of the volcano in 89. So it is awesome to see that continuity of the Heisei Godzilla go down the line, and then he like finally passes. He's like, you know, my job's done. I'm tired of doing this shit. This is tough. This is a bad 9 to 5. And then Junior gets resurrected in the end. So it is a happy ending.
Mm-hmm.
And then Final Wars, they do a good job with the whole compilation. As Jordan mentioned, there's the trailer, the end credits, and they just do like a compilation of everything that went into it. And it's kind of cool and fun. And that's the only movie that's ever done that in the Godzilla series. So it gives off that vibe of, we're done. Like, check out all the shit that went into play to make this movie. This is it. 75, it's the same damn ending that we got in 73 or 74, goes off into the sea. 73, just walks away. 72, into the sea. 71, into the sea. It's the same thing. It's like, okay, there could have been a movie in 76. They could have kept there's nothing really that like impactful about the ending of 75. It's like, oh, look, he's going into the ocean again. So I think 95, if they just stopped there, it would have been fine, because I think the general consensus amongst a lot of fans, the Millennium Era is almost everyone's least favorite era. Is that kind of a true statement?
Oh, absolutely.
Well,
because
no.
Also the movies, they're kind of very random. It's like 2000, its own film.
The
Showa
is the most overrated series out of all of them by far. I'm not kidding. I'm not saying that to be controversial.
Wow.
I'm just saying.
Would you be more disappointed if the Showa era didn't exist or the Millennium era didn't exist?
I'd be more disappointed if the Showa era didn't exist.
See, that's same thing. If they'd have just ended on 95, that would have been it. It really is the best ending. And this is coming from somebody that's not a big fan of the Heisei films. But the 95 does it the best. Final Wars does it second, and I mean 75. It just, gotta love the movie. Eric, I know you're seething up there, but it's not as impactful. It doesn't have a lot of impact. It's just, okay, he's going to the sunset again.
I understand what Eric means when he says like the simplicity of it in 75 is beautiful. But we're talking about Godzilla. We're not talking about, whatever. It needs to be a little bit more bombastic, a little bit more. And I think that's what I'm hearing from everybody, is that it's a little too just normal. I don't know.
Yeah. So my book for dummies answer is that.
Though in some cases for 75, for the topic for 75, though in some cases less is more. It's just, at least comparing it to the other two is just like, it's night and day. There is no comparison.
Well, the thing is that if say in 75, say we added in Minya to it, and they both swam out to sea like we've seen in Final Wars and everything. Then in 95, obviously Junior was kind of took up the mantle and everything. Like, what if they added little Godzilla or whatever to that cutscene? Would it be more impactful? Is it because of who else is in that scene with Godzilla? Because it's Baby or Minion or whatever name you want to call him. Is it because of that, or is it, or if you take that out, is it more impactful?
I don't think so. I think it's just that 75 just doesn't. It just feels like any other Showa ending. You know what I mean? I think that's where there's a heaviness, there's an emotionalness to
Katsura.
Well, there's a heaviness and there's an emotionalness to the ending of 95. There's a kind of
I know what you're trying to say, John. I'm trying to find it too.
Yeah, it's hard to. I'm trying to find the way to put it into words, but there's an emotionalness to the ending, a heaviness to the ending of 95. There's a there is
hopeful, maybe.
A what?
Maybe hopeful.
Yeah, but are we just talking about just Godzilla now? We talk about the whole story because I mean, at the very end, they brought Katsura's body out and laid her down to rest because she did an ultimate sacrifice.
But Katsura has nothing to do with Godzilla, and I think that's like I think that like for that film, it's a fantastic ending.
Oh, absolutely.
But it just feels like
that's an emotional impact.
To me, Terror of Mechagodzilla just feels like a sequel to Mechagodzilla and not an
the ending of Godzilla.
Culmination of Showa, where and maybe that's the way to put it. Like to me, Terror of Mechagodzilla, Godzilla is not getting the send off of this is the final, like where Destroya feels like the culmination of the franchise. Final Wars feels like the culmination of the franchise. I just don't feel that with 75. Again, not saying that it's shit, not saying that the ending isn't powerful, not saying that it isn't awesome, that the fights aren't good, the Katsura, all of it. It just didn't feel like a culmination of the Showa era. Yeah. Destroya felt like the culmination of the Heisei era. Final Wars felt like the culmination of the Millennium era or the Godzilla era in general. And in a lot of ways, it was the final Godzilla film, which we'll get into in a little bit.
So if all 15 of the movies still exist from Showa, but in a different order, I think the Destroy All Monsters, if Destroy All Monsters was 75, if it was the last movie, I know that's a weird concept, but if all the movies were just put in a different order, Destroy All Monsters actually has the feel of an ending because you get the compilation of them going across the island and we get to see all the monsters, and then there's Godzilla and Minya and it pans out and you see all of Monster Island and the world's at peace because they defeated the Keloks and Ghidorah. It has more of a vibe of this could be the end of Godzilla than 75 did.
Yeah, they're even
because the
only thing they're missing is them waving.
Exactly.
So yeah. Well, it's getting heated up in here.
All right. Hey, that's good, man. That makes an interesting show. Can't have everybody
a fan on higher
agreeing. I mean, we have to let everybody know that Eric doesn't know what the hell he's talking about.
Oh, whatever. It's perception. It's perception.
Eric's biased opinion because terror is his favorite. Hey, Eric, I like your cup.
Well, that's
all right, should Mr. Ryuhei Kitamura do more? Should he get one more shot at the Godzilla franchise?
You guys see what I did there?
Yes, yeah, we see it, Samson. Good job, bud. Good, you do good. You do good. Would you guys like to see him come back and with the experience he has now, he's heard the reception of Final Wars. Would you like to have him have one more crack at it? Adrian.
Absolutely fucking not.
All right,
Jeez.
Eric. Hey, no, that's all right. This doesn't have to be a necessarily long question or whatever.
I'm gonna say yes, just because he's heard the reception from it. He's heard the feedback. It's been 20 years. Maybe he thought of this idea, this radical idea, the thought that would just kind of grab the audience, and I think it was more divided than anything. And maybe he comes back with a different mindset and everything. And I would at least give each director 2 films under their belt. And if they're not good after 2 films, then no, get out of here.
Okay.
All right, that's fair. I like that, Eric. Jordan.
Absolutely. This is a fucking. This is for me a circus act. I fucking love it. I think the director did an amazing job. I know one of his like really heavy inspirations to this was Godzilla Destroy All Monsters Melee, in terms of just like the combat choreography, and just obviously look how that panned out to be. I would love to see another movie done by this specific individual. It's, oh my god, the possibilities are endless at this point for me if this man would ever do another Godzilla movie.
Okay, Samson.
I say everybody deserves a second shot. Let's see, since he's more seasoned now, let's see what he's, and as y'all are saying, the reception of the Final Wars film. Let's see what he can let's see what he can do with all these years of experience and knowledge and everything that he's gained over time. And also, let's recast the Chocolate Child as an adult and see him with his toys and see how his collection has grown, and have him show up in the next movie. Let's see what that kid's been up to.
I'm not gonna lie, you threw me off when you said Chocolate Child. I was about to be like, whoa, what is happening?
No, we were talking about that during Final Wars last night. We were like, man, I wonder what that kid's up to these days.
Chocolate eating child.
There you go.
There we go.
You could have just said the Canadian child.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those Canadians.
No, Chocolate Child is an alliteration. I like it. It rolls off the tongue.
Listen, I agree with what I think. Well, everybody but Adrian. Adrian, you're the stupid one in this particular equation.
That's fine.
No, listen. I think he should. I think he should get one more shot. I've obviously said that I'm a fan of Final Wars. I enjoy it. I can understand where people don't necessarily like the direction with like the mutants and the Dragon Ball Z, and maybe it was a little too human centric and focused at certain points, and I can agree with that. So yeah, I wouldn't mind him coming back and getting a shot. But my only caveat to that would be I wouldn't want to see him try to do Final Wars again. Like, let's maybe see if he can do like a little bit more contained movie. Give him, Godzilla, maybe 1 or 2 other monsters in the film. Not a standalone Godzilla film, but like Godzilla with 1 or 2 other monsters in that film. And then branch up, because that is the one thing that I do think that holds I said -1. That holds Final Wars back is that, to me, it definitely seems like there should have been at minimum 1, maybe even 2 films that led into this. So like, to me, I totally understand the arguments, Eric. I know you think that they should have finished the Mechagodzilla trilogy, and I totally understand that. I think that there should have probably been 1 or 2 films that led into Final Wars. So yeah, I say give him another shot.
Yeah, because we got that end credit scene of Tokyo SOS with the little G cell and that containment thing. It's like Final Wars didn't feel like, oh man, it picks up right after that. That's what Final Wars is. It's like, okay, a couple films could have led up to it, and that could have been what came from the end credit scene of Tokyo SOS.
Right. And also, like, I know that to me, I don't understand. There's certain people in the Godzilla community that don't like Final Wars, but will praise Godzilla, Kong, the New Empire, or the current slate of MonsterVerse films. To me, this is just kind of like a Japanese equivalent of it, like where it's fun, it's bombastic, it's
off the rails.
Yeah, it's coming at you at 120 miles an hour. People were doing lines of coke and being like, "We should try this," and everyone's like, "Yeah, we should try that." And it's it reminds me a lot of what we're getting with the current MonsterVerse films, like just kind of wild and crazy, campy, but fun and bombastic. So,
yeah, valid.
Anything else? All right, moving on. How does everybody like the music? It definitely has a different feel than a lot of the other Godzilla films. I'm just going to start, and I'm not going to say too much about it. I'm a fan of the music. I actually bought the soundtrack in 2004 at G-Fest. I love it, man. Or maybe it was 2005, whatever. I love it, man. I love the music. It's just, I love like the orchestra and the sounds. It's fun to me. I love the Final Wars soundtrack. So it's very different for sure. I understand that argument. But I like it. It's fresh. It was fresh and it was new. It was something different. It wasn't the same stuff constantly, and I like that. Let's go with Jordan. I don't feel like I've started with you in a while.
Yeah, no. So I'm hopping on the same boat as you, Joe. I love the track for this. It definitely fits the entire tone to the entire movie. Godzilla's theme song. I mean, come on, you throw that up, and I could work out to that fucking theme song, and I would feel motivation out the wazoo. I'd feel like I'm walking out looking like Final Wars Godzilla. It's it's even like the more settled tone scenes in the movie. The track fit them perfectly. When things really started, like going up in terms of just whether it's a specific scene with like the humans, where it's like dramatic, intense, like the tones to the track were just on point with everything. Again, I know I've been bringing up a bunch of like anime references here, but this it could be thrown into that of an anime, and because this is a freaking anime type of vibe movie, is perfect. I love it. Not saying it's the best track in Godzilla's entirety, but for this movie, it is bearable. I do enjoy it.
All right, Samson.
Oh, I dig it. It's awesome. I just barrel down. Yeah, I mean, what we just heard. I love the opening credits which is different. It's basically like a remix of the Godzilla theme. I love Godzilla's main theme when he's walking through beating up all the other monsters, and even the subtle music, like we heard a couple questions back. The twinkly music of the characters when they're on the ship and they're about to amp Godzilla up with they're about to make him go Super Saiyan Goji. It's effective. Even the rockin' Sum 41 cameo for the destruction of Zilla was that was kind of out of left field, but it was still like, whoa, yeah, America. But as far as just like the actual soundtrack goes, I do thoroughly enjoy it. I don't know where it is. It's gone. I recreated it on the keyboard years back. Like I recorded it and put it in my computer and put it together, like the instrumental parts and the percussion, and like I even went into a microphone for and I recreated the music myself a while back. So I definitely like the Final Wars track. It's good.
Eric.
Yeah, it was fine. It definitely fit the movie. The Sum 41 song was great. Actually, I wish that was longer, for a longer part when Godzilla was fighting somebody else. Would have been really fun. But it kind of fit, the part for it being like the American Godzilla and American, music and stuff like that. It fit. The opening, like trailer, I guess you could say, going through the years and everything was incredible. Like, I love that. It's probably like my favorite part. And then just the music is just memorable, and you know it from this movie. Like, it's very different than what we had before. Not saying that I'm the biggest fan of it, but I don't mind it. I don't hate it. It's just kind of in the middle for me. But you definitely know when this music is playing, you know exactly what movie it's from. So
Yeah. Adrian.
Yeah, I feel the same. I don't absolutely love it. I don't hate it. I also don't hate it either, though. It's a fun, very unique soundtrack. Kind of what 2014 Godzilla soundtrack sits. Kind of like that in a sense. It's like different in that type of way, but when you hear it, you know, oh yeah, this is definitely Final Wars. So it definitely fits the tone of the film too. So I enjoy it.
Right on. I think we all agree. It's it's different. It's unique for sure. I wouldn't say that it sucks. I wouldn't say that it's the best out of the Godzilla franchise, but it's fun. It's different. I think we all agree.
And it has its place.
Yeah, very good, Adrian. Yes, it has its place. Good. All right, moving on.
I had to change the music for copyright reasons.
well, yeah.
Yeah.
Obviously.
And
So Godzilla versus Zilla. This is the fight for 6 years, right? 98 to 2004, that everybody kind of wanted because of the disappointment with the 98 film. Are you guys, so this isn't necessarily a question, obviously, but basically, are you guys happy that Zilla was included and that this fight took place, or do you think that it never needed to happen? Did you want it to be longer? Did you want Zilla to put up more of a fight? Tell me what you're thinking. Let's go with Eric. I don't think I've chosen you first for a while.
Yeah, this is exactly what I wanted. It was literally, like I said earlier, it was putting the American Godzilla in its place and showing exactly who is the king. And they were just like the big FU to the TriStar Godzilla. And they're like, this is when we gave you the license, this is not what we wanted, even though they signed off on it. They probably retracted that after the bad reaction that kind of fans were kind of giving it and everything like that. And for many years, rightfully so. So even though, its popularity is increasing and kind of becoming like a cult classic almost now, 98 is, honestly. But still, it's just kind of, it was fitting. It kind of almost needed to happen to kind of maybe in the Japanese eyes kind of rub the dirt away and get that smudge off of their resume a little bit, and just like, you know what, this is what we think of it. This is no good. It's done. So, but yeah, it was great to see, and I'm glad it went the way it did.
Yeah, let's just wipe that away real quick. All right, there we go. All right, just get that off. All right, much better.
Absolutely. All right, Jordan.
This was the best thing that could have happened to that piece of shit motherfucker.
Jesus.
When I saw him in the movie, I remember this like it was fucking just yesterday. I saw him at fucking Sydney. I looked at my brother. I looked at my mother. I looked at my father with this face. And when Godzilla fucking owned him, oh my God. It was like my reaction to that was my reaction when I saw Rey Mysterio in 2006. Or if anything, I could say the vice versa. My reaction to Rey Mysterio winning the World Heavyweight Championship at 2006 WrestleMania 22 against Kurt Angle and Randy Orton for the World Championship was my reaction to when Godzilla fucking destroyed and humiliated that piece of fucking shit iguana in Zilla.
Jeez, harsh.
All right.
How you really feel, Jordan? Shit.
Guys, some breaking news out of San Diego Comic-Con right now. Legendary is not continuing Godzilla with the MonsterVerse. Toho has canceled the contract.
Ooh.
Wow, I guess they didn't like New Empire.
Breaking news out of apparently Legendary had a panel and it just wrapped up right now, and they announced that Toho and them could not work out an extension, that Godzilla Kong was actually the last, and they were hoping with the success that they could renew, and it's looking like Toho said no. So it looks like Toho wants to make its own movies going forward.
Oh, shit.
I wonder if they're watching our thing right now. They're like, hey, let's give that other guy a chance to make another movie. Huh. I wonder if that's
I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Oh, motherfucker!
You stoic fucking son of a bitch.
I
You can't do that. That is not funny.
That would have been a whole nother
Triple J, sucker! Triple J!
Triple J coming at you.
Yeah, coming at you.
All right, Samson, Godzilla versus Zilla. What are you thinking?
Oh, it was just the right amount of fuck you. It was just we all know about the disappointment of 98, but who was the one that said it? Eric, it's becoming a cult classic now. That is why I think it's really funny that a lot of us, I don't know how many, who's excited to get this new Bandai?
I am.
The Zilla.
I am. I really am. Even much as I hate it, I'm still gonna get it.
I'm excited. I think it's cool. I mean, it's like it is. They did a good job. It doesn't look like 98. It looks like the little bit of a difference that the 2004 film versus 98 is. And so it looks like the actual Final Wars, the CGI Final Wars figure.
It does. Mm-hmm.
But yes, to have Godzilla, the true king, decimate the what do we call it? The Dollar General, the Rite Aid, the
Zilla.
Walmart,
True value.
Walmart brand. Yeah.
True value.
Isn't that what you called it, Eric?
Great value.
Great value.
Yeah.
The Wall. I was like, what's the Walmart brand? I'm fucking up my own joke. Yeah.
Country Fair for HEB.
That thing thought he was like, he tried to square up at Godzilla, and Godzilla was like, you know what? Not even wasting time. Well, he did use his atomic breath, but he just whipped him with his tail. He's like, whoosh, goodbye, and then blew him the fuck up. Yeah. So, but was it necessary to be in the film? If it wasn't, I don't think anybody would have been like, oh, why didn't they kill the American one? It's like, if they didn't have it in the film at all, it wouldn't have been noticeable.
Yeah, no.
It wasn't necessary for the film, honestly. It wasn't like a great addition for that thing to be in the movie. But for the fans that hate 98, yes, it was.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Adrian, are you the last one that needs to go?
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So when I first saw this when I was 14 years old, I'm not gonna lie, I probably screamed when I saw this the very first time. But now that I'm older, am I glad it was in the film? Yes. Am I okay with being in the film? Yes. But I do wish it was a little bit longer. And the reason why is because Matt Frank actually did Godzilla versus Zilla. It's blank on me what comic it is, Joe. You or Eric probably know better than I do.
Rulers of Earth.
Thank you. Volume 3, right? Rules of Earth, I think.
He was actually
Issue
in
3?
I think he was right in issue 1, wasn't he? Didn't he show up?
Was it issue 1?
Issue 2 or 3?
Yeah, issue 2.
It was 2 or 3. It was one of those.
Yeah, it was like very towards the beginning.
Very
Yeah.
Like, yes.
Yeah. And the way Matt Frank did Zilla in that, like, I mean, he was actually pretty. It was a pretty fun fight actually in that comic. I would have liked to see that in live action. Honestly, that's my only grab about what they did in Final Wars. I just wish Zilla could have had a little bit more screen time to at least give Godzilla a little bit of a challenge. But I'm fine with what happened because, like Jordan said, fuck 98.
No. Yeah, I mean, listen, I don't agree with Matt Frank on much, but I agree with what he did on Rulers of Earth with Zilla. He actually, and if I believe it was that comic that, and obviously it's not canon or whatever, but I like this idea that Zilla's actually like a cousin species of Godzilla, where it's not God, but it's part of the Zilla species. And you know, where if Godzilla's a Komodo dragon, it's a lizard, but it's different than an iguana, which is, you know, they're all kind of in that same family, but they're obviously vastly different. And I kind of liked that. And also, you know, another thing I agree with Matt Frank on is while the 98 film may not have been for me, I've grown to appreciate it, and I can enjoy it very much so, actually. As a film, I just don't count it as Godzilla. I look at it literally as this is a cousin species to Godzilla, or this is a Beast from 20,000 Fathoms remake, something of that nature. And I understand the hate that 98 gets. I'm right there with you. I think they did Godzilla dirty. However, we need to appreciate the fact that 98 did open the door for new Godzilla fans and did, you know, widen the audience. Even if it wasn't diehard Godzilla fans or collectors like we all are, it brought Godzilla more mainstream and opened that door for new fans, and that is super important. Same thing with the MonsterVerse, same thing with the Millennium films or the Reiwa or the animated or whatever. We may not like them, we may not like them as much as the Showa or the Heisei, etc., but they open the door for new fans, and somebody out there enjoys that, and that was their entry or their first experience into Godzilla, and that's super important. Adrian, you've said it before, and I've echoed it ever since. More Godzilla is best Godzilla, even if maybe it's not our best Godzilla. So, but as far as the fight, I'm glad we got it. I think that I think that was definitely fan service that Toho was giving us, you know, kind of letting us know, like, hey guys, we know you don't like that. We know they messed up, so we'll you know, we'll kind of make it right. And they even kind of had that blurb in GMK where you know, the Americans said Godzilla attacked a couple years ago, but our people have doubts on if it was really Godzilla, you know. And so Zilla's kind of been mentioned and thrown around. I think this was their way of kind of showing everybody, hey, this is Godzilla, this is not. So I'm all right with it. I think that it needed to be short and sweet. Godzilla's showing its dominance, and yeah, I'm happy with it. So yes,
really,
sir.
Can we pop up Oscar's comment about Godzilla versus Zilla?
That one?
Why the fuck would this need to happen?
Oscar, you crazy MonsterVerse son of... Oscar's drunk on the MonsterVerse Kool-Aid. That's true.
He is.
I mean, after the fucking jump scare you gave us, I can only imagine how fucking fucked up in the head he is right now.
So, by the way, there's an Instagram reel online. I can't remember who it was, but they interviewed the director of Final Wars, and the question was what we're talking about. It was asking the director about the scene, like whose idea was it to include, and he said, "Oh, absolutely, it was my idea." He was like, "I just wanted to wipe that thing clean. I just wanted it to be one punch and done." He was like, "Yeah, we have the rights to it, so I can do that." It's a little bit longer than that, but that's what the director says. He was like, "Oh, that was my idea to include that. I absolutely just wanted." He was like, "That's not Godzilla. It's like a little lizard bug, and I don't like it." So that's why I included it in the movie. Godzilla just knocking him out, one punch and done kind of situation. So it was kind of like a revenge thing.
Well, and you know, and honestly, like, I mean, Leslie kind of said, yeah, we're hypocrites because we don't like 98, but we want to get the figure for the 98. But you got to realize that 98 Godzilla was for the Western audience. It wasn't for Japan. A lot of the Japanese people do not like that movie. So, of course, they're going to do stuff like this to wipe the slate clean. And like I said, get rid of that smudge off of their resume because they didn't like it. And it didn't get what it needed to get and everything at the time. So, like, we might over here, because it is very westernized and it's for us, particularly, a lot of other people do not like it and everything. So of course stuff like this is gonna happen and everything. And yeah, like we might hate on something, initially and everything. Sometimes you get to grow and likes things. I mean, I do it all the time. There's a lot of Showa films that I used to hate and everything, and I absolutely love them now. It's just everybody changes and their opinions change and stuff like that, and it's okay. Like that's what's great about this, is that you can change your opinion on liking one thing and not liking another, and still be a fan of this stuff. And that's what I think a lot of people have to stop focusing, is that just because they don't like one thing doesn't mean they like something else or whatever. It's like we can all like different things and be okay. Mm-hmm. Like we're literally just sitting here just having our own conversation on our own opinions about it. Doesn't mean that we don't like this movie or we don't like 98 Godzilla. We might like them, but we like it in our own way, in our own spectrum and stuff like that. Like it's not that we absolutely hate it and disgust it and everything. Yeah, we might say that it's not very good Godzilla movie, which it's not really a Godzilla movie. It's a monster movie, kind of thing. So it's just different how we label it and stuff like that. We just have to think of it differently when we say this stuff. Like honestly, right now I've been bashing on this movie the whole stream. I can still actually watch this movie and still enjoy it. But you did absolutely. Yeah, exactly. I watched it last night with you guys. I watched the whole thing. I'll watch it when it's on Pluto TV, and stuff like that. I can still watch this stuff and not be the biggest fan of this particular movie and per se, but the character in general, I still love it. I still love seeing kaiju action and everything. So I just think people just have to change their thinking overall. And it's like, just because you don't like something doesn't mean you dislike everything. So.
Mm-hmm. A lot of people take that to heart too often. If you disagree with me, then we're not friends. It's like, no, we're all talking about shit showing on different things. Like Adrian hates King Caesar, but Jordan doesn't hate Adrian. He just dislikes him with great intensity. So
I hate Adrian. I'm just kidding.
But yeah. Yeah, it really stinks that some people take it too much to heart. I agree with everything everybody's saying. The 98 film, it's not Godzilla to me. I don't think anybody can say that. Mm-hmm. Some people can, I don't know. But it's as I've grown up, the movie itself isn't bad. It's just that we don't like the idea that they put the title Godzilla over this big creature feature, because there's nothing godly about him. It's a giant Tyrannosaur-esque monster running around New York City, and helicopters and shit are after him, and then the worm guy. So it's not it's the title that bothers us, not the film itself. I think that's the best way that I can put it. It's the title, not the film.
Yes, I agree. All right, let's move on.
Then we got one left, right?
I believe this is no, we should have two more.
No, this is the last one. The timeline.
Well, there should have been one more, but that's all right. I'll ask it. I'll ask it anyways. Is Godzilla overpowered in this movie? This is kind of a point of discussion amongst many of the fans, because they think Godzilla went through the roster of kaiju way too quickly, way too powerful, especially certain ones that were his older villains that had standalone films. I don't know. I guess it's a matter of opinion. Let's just take it right down from the top. Adrian.
Yeah, Godzilla is definitely overpowered in this movie. And then I mean, even the song, your point, Joe. I mean, we know what Hedorah did to Godzilla in the 70s. That was this movie. Godzilla treat him like the piece of shit he is. Like that was even that was bad. I mean, Kamakuris and Kamunga, okay, I can see why he would obliterate them. But then he treated Rodan, King Caesar, and Ingress like toys. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, really? Like, Godzilla and Ingress fought to the death before. Godzilla and Rodan, they had a pretty epic battle. King Caesar's not a bitch. He shouldn't have got done like that either. It's just, Godzilla's ridiculously overpowered in this movie. It's stupid. Oh, and and of course even Gigan.
No, shut up. That's not. No.
Gigan gets bitch for no reason also, because Lord knows Gigan's not that. Gigan's a bitch, but he's not that much. Jesus. But yes, Godzilla is out way fucking overpowered for sure.
Eric.
Absolutely was overpowered in this movie. Good God.
Yeah, the head on that thing shouldn't be on it right now. You got to take that thing off. Where's I don't know why the head's on that. It shouldn't be there.
I mean, this film. So before we got Godzilla coming out and everything, the whole world was in disaster. Everything's in chaos, whatever. And all they had to do was unleash Godzilla, and everything was good because he just went through everybody and everything. There was nothing, even a blip on the radar for being a challenge for him. I mean, he didn't even break stride for the other 8 kaiju in the movie, honestly. Like, he just kept walking. And honestly, it was kind of disappointing. Just like Adrian said, like, there's a lot of these kaiju that put up a fight in the older films and stuff like that. And it was kind of, we discussed this before. It was crappy to see the disservice that these older kaiju kind of got in this film. Like, they were nice to see, and we were all excited to see them, and they were back and they're revamped and everything, and they just got shit on, honestly. And it's kind of sad to see, honestly. Obviously, we're big Godzilla fans. We want to see him be this powerful protector and everything like that. But at the same time, like, this whole movie, the whole feel of it, I think we should have seen him struggle a little bit more until, before he met Monster X, where you could actually see the struggle with Monster X and then Kaiser and everything like that. So it was crappy. And then, yeah, you got this guy that you had so much potential for. He was probably one of the main bad guys, if not the main, because you saw him several times come out. He had his first form kind of thing, and then he came out with the chainsaws and everything, where he's revamped again. And he just didn't live up to it. And basically, he just was one shot and just he's out of there kind of thing. It just really sucked that this kaiju was focused on a lot, and he didn't really do that much. I mean, Mothra killed him, for God's sakes. Actually, I should say he killed himself.
Yeah.
Then Mothra finished him off. So it was really kind of like they made him a dumb cyborg because he killed himself with his own weaponry, which was kind of lame. So, but yeah, definitely way overpowered.
Jordan.
I'm just gonna keep this short and simple. He was fucking broken. It's why I love him. But yeah, oh my goodness, he was so fucking broken for sure.
Okay, Samson.
Yeah, he was overpowered. He went through the roster way too fast. And to feed off of Eric, as big of a fan of Gigan as I am, the BDSM Gigan in this movie was I'm not a big fan of it, but they did hype him up. Like, they had the whole backstory thing about, oh, he's this ancient creature, he's a mummified. They were like building him up to be like the big bad. And then Godzilla just blows his head off. Just full Kurt Cobain style, just head gone. And it was just in an instance, just
I don't think you needed that, but okay.
And then all the other monsters just boom, 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 boom. But they had to wrap it up because the movie was already 2 hours long. So it's like, okay, we got to go through the roster of the other kaiju really quickly. I do like the fact that him and Monster X, them duking it out, it was tough because he struggled. Like that whole thing where he goes like that and picks him up by his wrist. And it's like, I felt that. My wrist hurt when I saw that. And his gravity beam, whatever the thing was, the Monster X shoots out. You saw Godzilla get hit and be like, oh, damn.
Yeah.
So that was like the only time that you were like, oh, Godzilla's struggling. Every other kaiju, just one and done really fast. So yes, I guess the only thing and then I mean he had to be powered up by Goku, but yeah, the whole atomic breath to Kaiser Ghidorah into space thing was a great shot, but holy shit.
Yeah, listen, I agree with you guys. I think he was definitely overpowered. However, I think Jared brings up a good point here when he says maybe the villain strengths were underpowered. And that could be true, but I actually kind of like the fact that Godzilla was so powerful and was able to beat everybody with relative ease, because it showed to me, it helped show the strength of Monster X, because like I had talked about earlier, Monster X and Godzilla were able to fight to a standstill, and you had this whole movie showing and giving you examples of Godzilla's strength, his physical strength and his nuclear strength, and Monster X was able to fight him to a standstill. Now, Monster X wasn't able to beat Godzilla, and Godzilla wasn't able to beat Monster X, so Monster X was forced to transform, and it showed truly the Kaiser, the great Ghidra, right? And Kaiser was able to mop the floor with this overpowered Godzilla. So I think having Godzilla so strong, Monster X being right there with them, and then transforming and showing you, hey, this is my 100% power, and just that powerful of a Godzilla being outclassed was really impressive. And I think it brought some levity to the power of Kaiser Ghidra. I definitely think that Kaiser Ghidra Godzilla fight should have been significantly longer than what it was. But I do kind of like the fact that Godzilla was so powerful and then stopped in his tracks by Kaiser. I think that did kind of bring some levity to the final boss.
Well, yeah, you could. I mean, yeah, he stopped, but then like all of a sudden he gets recharged, and all of a sudden he overtakes him again, and then he mops the floor with Kaiser. Like, I didn't understand that. Like, is it? I mean, if he was a true, like, he's Kaiser, and then they gave him that extra power, they should have been still like neck and neck kind of thing. And I agree with you. Like, they should have been. The fight should have been a lot longer. Should have been drawn out a little bit more. Maybe some wear and tear, whatever. Maybe Godzilla had to do something crazy or whatever. But like, yeah, just the power up, and all of a sudden he just wipes the floor with them and just throws them into space and blasts them and everything. It's like, where was that? Like, seriously, like, you can't tell me that energy he was given rose him so much where he's like, hey, you're nothing to me now. Like, I'm just going to throw you away.
I agree, and that's kind of why I pulled up Jared's comment of the villains being underpowered. Specifically, as awesome and as powerful as Kaiser was, when Godzilla got that recharge or that power up, I don't think there should have been that class disadvantage or whatever, because that kind of goes to me saying that the fight should have been longer. And also, it's kind of like, maybe it would have been a cool ending to where Godzilla, like Mothra comes back, maybe Rodan and Anguirus, King Caesar shows up, kind of like the ones that were Godzilla's like allies back in the day. Now that the mind control was broken or whatever, they make a surprise appearance and come back and help Godzilla. Like, that would have been kind of cool. Like, Godzilla gets a recharge. Absolutely. He's kind of able to, maybe Kaiser, instead of Kaiser being up here and Godzilla here, then the recharge happens, but Godzilla's just still not quite there, and it takes Mothra, Rodan, Anguirus, Caesar to come in and I don't know, would have been cool.
Damn, that would have been, yeah, I like that idea, because he didn't kill King Caesar and Anguirus and Rodan. They were laying in a pile in the middle of wherever the fuck that was. He didn't actually kill them like he did the other kaiju.
Correct.
Well, there's no confirmation Kumonga's dead.
Are you?
Well, he's on the windshield. Let's be honest. He's on the windshield somewhere.
He got shot all the way in fucking Africa. He's fucking dead.
I don't see the body.
Does anybody else have any anything else to say as far as Godzilla being overpowered?
I'm good.
I don't think so.
No.
Just that he was.
And dang, did I leave out a question that I didn't see, or did I just?
So I think you thought it was the
it was mixed in with something else. Maybe
No,
that's
I
what it
think
was.
you thought it was like the headline, but so which is fine because this is actually could be a great final question.
Bonus question.
Yeah.
Yay.
So
Yeah.
50 years and the end of Godzilla, and I truly do think that Final Wars is the end of Godzilla, and let me tell you why. This is the final Godzilla film that we will probably ever get that uses a suit.
I was going to mention Suitmation. Yeah.
and you know what, and that might be okay, that might be fine. I was very impressed with what they did with Shin Godzilla as well as what they did with -1, and I think that they still have some work to do to get the fluidity of the movements and certain things better, and they need to probably invest some time and money into into their CGI or their computers or whatever it is, however it works. But for the final Godzilla film that uses suit, that uses like miniatures like that, what are your guys' thoughts? Talk me through that. Are you guys sad? Are you guys happy? Would you guys like to see another film? I've always been, I guess I'll just give my opinions first. I've always been under the impression that CGI is used too much today. I think that CGI is best when it's used to clean up a film. So to me, why couldn't there be a Godzilla suit that has like green screen properties built into the suit, to where they can go in and touch up that suit with CGI, touch it up digitally to enhance it. I do kind of wish that maybe they would try something like that, or try one last Godzilla film with a suit, and like I said, just use the CGI and digital effects to touch up. You could save the money on the miniatures and whatever. You don't necessarily have to do like the miniatures, and you could do that with digital. I don't know. That's just my opinion. But I would like to see a hybrid of Suitmation and CGI intertwined heavily together to bring a better product. Samson, what do you think?
Wholeheartedly agree. Like they could do things like cover up the eye holes and necks with CGI and stuff like that. And I can't imagine how much it must cost less to have a big suit versus CGIing the hell out of every single frame for a film. I don't know. I'm not a CGI-ologist, but
CGI-ologist.
I love Suitmation. There's something so real and grounded about it. It's we grew up with it, and it's awesome. It's fun, and it goes to show it's an art. It's an art that I can appreciate because there's a lot of talent and dedication that goes into it. When I was watching the after credit or the special features on my disc of Final Wars last night, it's funny. There was a scene behind the scenes showing Monster X and the Gigan and Godzilla fighting, and you saw like the scene play out, and then when you heard the Japanese cut, it was like the Suitmation mode of Monster X. He was all like rah, rah, and they went cut, and he just like stood up like a regular dude. It was kind of funny to see that. It was like, whoa, wait, hold on. There's an art to Suitmation that I love, so I want to see some more of it, but it seems like CGI is just such a now like embedded in cinema thing that I don't know if we really will again with Godzilla, because it's already been proven with -1 that they can successfully make a film that is phenomenal with a pretty tight budget and it be extraordinarily successful. But yes, I do want to see Suitmation happen again. I would like to see it used again.
All right, Jordan.
I mean, of course, it's, oh my God, it's the formula that is Godzilla, that is Gamera, that is Ultraman, that is Super Sentai. It's, oh man, like, with the whole, CGI thing, and I've said this all the time, like it is way heavily overused to try to, in some people's eyes, perfect the movie. And it's just like, you don't really need to be doing all this extra work just for it to look fluid and clean when back, you know, in like, let's just say specifically Jurassic Park, we have those close-up shots of the animatronic head of the T-Rex or the Velociraptors. Like those were done tremendously. Like it was done beautifully, you know. And then we don't ever. I mean, I know we got that a little bit in Dominion with that close-up shot of the Giganotosaurus. That's really the only scene that I can recall. But like for me, that was like something that I was just like, yes, they brought it back, even though if it was just for like this amount of time. Like I was like, let's fucking go. Even Michelle brought it up. She goes, "Wait, is that an animatronic?" And I said, "You damn fucking right." But that shit is fucking beautiful. I don't give a fuck about what anybody says. So with that being like, formed with the Suitmation, I mean, I can't talk to Samson about it because he doesn't watch it. But like, look at Ultraman. You know, look at, you know, obviously they're still with the tokusatsu traditions with a little bit of the CGI implemented within, you know, specific episodes. And in my opinion, it is done tremendously. Obviously, there's some parts that look wonky, but I'm like, hey, listen, this is just for a brief moment. I don't give a shit about it. I'm here to watch Ultraman, not judge the CGI that's being used in it, because regardless, it still looks amazing for the budget that they have in making those fucking series. Um, but, uh, but yeah, I would love to see a comeback. I would love, like, I literally brought it up in my G-Fest vlog video, like when we were going over the Dojo Studios on the last and final day of G-Fest. Finally being able to see like the actual set, I was just like emotionally attached to it, because it's just like, oh my goodness. And I said it in the video, if only Toho could bring this back for the Godzilla franchise. And I know we've been getting these little short skits within every year during Godzilla's birthday of Final Wars Goji going up against, you know, whoever monsters celebratory
Anniversary.
like, anniversary would be, like with Ghidorah, Gigan, Jaguar, and now this year going to be King Ghidorah, which is going to be the best Ghidorah out there. So just want to
God. Absolutely not.
But like I love that. You know, it hits home, and I could probably speak on behalf of all of you guys. You know, it's what started the Godzilla franchise. If not that, is what started multiple of other properties afterwards. So yeah, I would love to see this being brought back to Toho. You're damn fucking right, Nathaniel.
Eric.
Yeah, like obviously I'm sad that it's kind of fading out. Obviously it's what we grew up on, it's what we know, it's what got us into this franchise, it's what got us to love this stuff, because to us it was real. You know, it wasn't knowing that there was a man in a suit. We just thought they were giant monsters, you know, just fighting each other and everything. Like, it was great. Like, it was just, you lost yourself in it and everything. And and kudos to them for doing that, you know, with their dioramas and the monsters and how they shot things to make it seem bigger than they were. It is sad that it is coming to an end, or already has ended, honestly. But like Jordan said, every year we get our little shorts, and that's kind of our little feeding our addiction for the Suitmation, you know, for the anniversaries and stuff like that, because obviously they can still do it. They can still do it well. And I love how they're shooting it differently than they used to. I mean, Ultraman is a great example. And then with the last two short films, is that they're shooting it in different perspectives that we've never seen before shot, and trying new things, and it looks phenomenal. So I don't want to say we'll never see it, because I think this is going to be like, the CGI is kind of like a fad. Like, they come and go, you know, just like everything else with technology, with clothing, whatever. Like, the old stuff become popular and people want to do it. So I don't ever want to say that we will never get that kind of stuff. It's going to be very distant in the future. But I would like to think that one day that we will get something from Toho, and I think Toho will be the only one who does it. The US, if we're still making movies, they will never ever do it. It'll always be CGI, and that's fine. because obviously Toho, Japan, they are the kings of that stuff. That's their bread and butter, honestly. So yeah, but I don't want to say that it'll never happen because of Ultraman still going on with Subaraya and everything. The shorts, and even some of these other obscure movies that are still coming out from Japan. That are still using props and everything like that, and dioramas and everything. So that's still a thing that's still kind of being around. It's just we're just not going to see it over here. So yeah, it sucks. I'm sad about it, but I love it. That's my favorite way to watch this stuff. It's just like Sam said, so nostalgia. It's so fun. It's great, and yeah, you can tell that it's not real or whatever for the most part, but it's you just forget about that and you just enjoy it and stuff. So.
Adrian.
Yeah, it definitely makes me sad that we haven't that. I know Eric's hopeful that we will get it again, but it doesn't really seem likely, at least at this point, that we'll get Suitmation again. So it definitely makes me sad that we don't have Suitmation anymore. Especially with me being a bigger photographer now. I mean, Suitmation's basically what I work on. So with all the CGI guys and stuff, it's been interesting to incorporate that, but. Just that's my as the way Suitmation was is basically my inspiration now for the photography I do. And like Eric said, I mean, it wasn't man in suit to us or kaiju flying on strings. They were monsters to us. And yes, I don't mind CGI. I do love, of course, I love -1 and Shin Godzilla Monster vs. Go 2 with the CGI, but you can't replace you can't replace man in the suit. There's no way to really completely replace that. And us getting the shorts that has been feeding our that's been our fix for a little bit of Suitmation. So the whole community doesn't go in an uproar with all the CGI. But it is sad to see that art form is slowly but surely going.
Yeah. Well, listen, I think you guys all had some great points there. I think we could all say that we have a nostalgic value for the suits and would love to see them back. I'm happy that the shorts and stuff that we are getting, I think it, like you guys said, it does kind of fill that void. I think we'd all like to see maybe one more Godzilla film tried out with some, modern technology and with suit, and just to see what can be done and be unburdened by what has been. So that'll pretty much do it, I think, for us. Does anybody else have any final thoughts real quick before we start to wrap up?
On this specific topic, I think it's just practical effects are something that can be appreciated. Like, one opinion that I've held reign supreme. The original The Thing is the greatest monster movie of all time because of its practical effects. I'm talking American monster movie. And then when they remade The Thing, or they did the sequel in 2011, it was like, what? You messed it up with the CGI. CGI isn't always good. Practical effects are appreciated, and I want to see more.
Yeah. Well, hell, I mean, look at Lord of the Rings. I mean, I think those are some of the best films ever made because they stayed so true to the books, probably more than any other film based off of a different source material, right? But look at the amount of practical effects, look at the wardrobes, look at the sets, look at the everything that they built, and what did they do? They enhanced it with CGI.
Yeah.
And I think that's Godzilla needs to do that. And I mean, here's the thing. They don't need to get rid of everything at the end of every movie. Hold on to it, reuse things if you can, like save the money that way. But anyways, anybody else?
Warsuit's getting some it's getting some mileage still with the shorts.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I'll just say I don't hate this movie. It's not my favorite, but as much as I bash on it, like I said, I still watch it. I still enjoy it because it is Godzilla, and that's what I love. And it's okay if you don't like every single Godzilla movie. It's okay if you have a different opinion or a different era that you like. I don't like the Millennium, and you guys do, or some of you do, and that's okay. It doesn't mean you're bad. Doesn't mean I'm bad. Doesn't mean I'm a fake fan. Doesn't mean you're a fake fan. So yeah, just like what you like, and it's okay to have differing opinions and stuff like that. So, but yeah,
Exactly.
this movie just isn't the my favorite, but I still enjoy it. So.
No, after last night with you guys, it was a rip roaring good time.
For sure. All right, so that's gonna kind of do it for us right now. As I said earlier in the stream, the entire Monsters with Attitude crew is going to be coming back live here on YouTube in about what, an hour or two? Is it 7
Hour and a half.
Is it 7
Hour and a
o'clock,
half.
Eric?
Yep.
Okay,
Hour
so
and a half.
7 p.m. Central Time. So about an hour and a half from now, we are all going to be coming on live, plus a bunch of other people from the MWA crew. And we are going to be talking about the reveals at Comic-Con. Celeste and Christian, or I'm sorry, just Celeste. Christian can't make it. We'll be talking about
vice versa.
Yeah, Christian be on because Celeste is at Comic-Con.
okay. Christian will be on because Celeste is at Comic-Con. So he'll be talking about things that that they saw at Comic-Con, as well as we will be going live talking about the reveals at Wonderfest. Wonderfest is going on in Japan, so we're going to be seeing probably a bunch of Sofubi, X Plus. I mean, possibly some new Bandais. The possibilities of what we're going to see is really going to be exciting. So you guys are definitely going to want to check that out. Also, as always, follow us on all of the Monsters with Attitude socials, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or X, Twitch, TikTok. We are also on Spotify. We have a lot of pictures and stuff up from our time at G-Fest last week. And Celeste and Christian have been sharing a bunch of stuff from Comic-Con in our group, so make sure you guys check that out. You guys can find all the links to all of our different socials right underneath this video, so make sure you guys check that out. 2 episodes in one day, that is way too much sexy. For real, I know. My wife is sweating. So yeah, you guys are going to want to check it out so we can all live react and discuss all the new goodies that we will be seeing. As always, I am your host, Joe. You can find me at Married to Kaiju on YouTube, where I do my own wacky stuff, where I am the rudest, crudest way you'll see Godzilla, Power Rangers, Toku, anime, and other properties reviewed, unboxed, and ultimately collected. Say rudest, crudest way because I don't edit. I don't know how to edit, and I'm not going to learn how to edit. I do everything in one take, so what you see is what you get. But I got a lot of cool shit, so check me out. Adrian.
Yep, of course I know this is Godzilla Chain 1090, and of course that's my name in all my socials, so it's pretty easy to find me. So don't have anything coming out this weekend, but next weekend I should be having a review coming. So see you then.
All right, Eric.
Yeah, I'm Eric. I go by the Bearded Kaiju. I have a YouTube channel, Bearded Kaiju's Box Reviews, where I review and unbox Godzilla stuff. I am very behind right now. I have a lot of stuff to do, so I have a lot of homework to get going on and everything. So be on the lookout for new videos dropping. And if you guys want to have links to all of our channels, check out our YouTube. We are all linked there, so you can all check out our individual YouTubes as well.
Jordan.
Yeah, so for everybody that hopped on tonight's show that is brand new, hello, my name is Jordan. I go by the realest Goji fan, so you guys could follow me on Instagram. YouTube is where I normally do most of my content. You can also find me on TikTok. Yeah, that's basically about it. I post a bunch of stuff about Godzilla, whether if it's figure reviews, gameplay, movie discussions, and so yeah, I love Kaiju, and I'm glad to be a part of MWA because we're just one big happy family that just loves talking about Kaiju.
Samson.
I am Samson West on YouTube, and it's Samzilla on Twitch, Instagram, and TikTok. Slowly starting to get into that line of social media with TikTok and Instagram Reels, just posting some funny videos that I've created over time that I utilize in my Twitch channel. But yeah, Twitch is my second home where I play a lot of video games, do movie nights, so on and so forth. But don't forget about the MWA Twitch, which we do video gaming on there from time to time once our schedules line up with these two beautiful gentlemen and this one over here as well. I just did both fingers because I didn't realize which. Damn it. So yeah, playing games, watching movies, having a good time, and just goofing off.
Which we need to start Halo 3, boys.
That's right. You're not wrong. Halo 3 is in the works.
All right. So, listeners with attitude, that will do it for us. As Jordan said, to all the new listeners, which I've noticed quite a few watching live with us today, welcome. Thank you guys so much for all the love and support. We truly appreciate it. And as always, it would not be the end unless we told you guys to
embrace the attitude.
Yeah.
All right,
Later,
everybody. Have a good night. We'll see you guys in a little over an hour. As always, take care of yourselves and each other. Hasta